Hi, John. Deanie. Hello, Martha.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. This is Russ.
Hi, Russ.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm on my way back to Connecticut from being in Florida for 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, ready to get home.
Yeah, I bet. Well, at least you're coming home to spring. Yes, that's nice.
Yes, I was going to ask, has spring already sprung a little bit?
Yeah, it's starting to get green a little bit, and the daffodils are blooming. And
awesome. And my grass probably needs mowing. Wow, we've got a full agenda today, it looks like.
Yes, indeed. Yep, I hope somebody plugged in the phone there.
Do you want to text somebody, Deanie or John?
Yeah, I'm texting Deanie right now.
Don't we need to hear from Martha?
We need to hear from Martha.
Ah, here we are.
Oh, hi, Martha.
You there, Martha?
Yep. I'm here, yes.
Hey.
And Russ is here, too.
Hi, Deanie.
Oh, Russ, thank you for calling
Thank
in.
you for dialing in.
Sure. How is everybody?
Good.
We have Martha, we have Deanie and I are here, and also Carolyn and Deb, and Russ is on the phone.
Great.
I think we have a quorum, and Deanie and I need to authorize Deb to fill in for Jeff. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, we're called to order. Now I can do the quorum call.
Did you make copies of the agenda?
We have a few copies.
Right.
Do you need an agenda copy? Do you need one?
I have it. Thanks, Tom.
Would anyone like a copy of the agenda? You're up soon. So. Okay. The minutes for the meeting of April 4th have been circulated. Is there a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Okay. And Deb seconds. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thus
passed.
none opposed. Okay. That motion carries. Are you keeping track of who?
I am?
Oh,
Yep.
great. Just as a check. And Martha, any communications?
Just confirmations from people who are on the agenda that they will be attending the meeting. Nothing new, nothing special.
Okay.
We did hear from Dave Vitale of 38 Lime Street, who is coming in to renew his C of A, and he should be there. If he's not in the audience now, he should be there shortly.
Okay.
What is it, that address again, Martha? 38. 38, right.
38,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
And have you heard anything from 2 Sill Lane?
I have not heard anything back from them.
All right. Public open forum.
Nobody in attendance.
Okay. We can pass over that. And the next item is Tim and Phil.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What we would like to do, what we are going to do at some point, is change the front doors and a few other doors on the town hall. Most of the ones in the rear are pretty much standard doors that I can swap out. I'm more concerned this is a hallmark building in the town, and I want to make sure that we put a nice door in there. These doors have not held up well. With salt and snow, the stiles on the bottom are all failed. As a matter of fact, when we painted this in 2017, we actually repaired the bottoms of those doors with Bondo. And you can see some of them are starting to delaminate at the stiles where the lights are on the windows. So I started on this little process about 1.5 years ago, to be honest, and I received one bid that was outrageous, and then I've received a couple of other bids, and then people with COVID and everything else, material wasn't available, the lead times were outrageous, and now that's starting the supply chain is starting to catch up. I've got a vendor who I've been discussing replacing 6 doors, but at 4 locations. The handicap entrance here, the 2 doors downstairs on the lower entrance, the maintenance door on the lower left-hand side as you enter the building, and then the first door on the landing on the deck coming up. Those doors I'm not worried about. We'll take care of those. These other doors, the stubble doors, I would like to use a composite.
And so you're talking about just the front door?
Just the double door here.
And the double door.
And the double door downstairs and the lower entry where you
So
can...
not the main, not the front door.
The front doors, those will be replaced as another part of the project.
Okay.
Okay, but I'd like to get those replaced because those are in the worst condition and they also are the most used in the building. But what I would like to use is a composite product. Physical visual appearance will not change, and it is a paintable surface. It is a much more stable material, and it can tolerate salt and those kinds of things, and the weather. And I talked to Tim, and we wanted to bring it before your commission for approval before we committed to ordering them.
Okay.
So no change to appearance?
It would physically,
Just exactly
if I didn't tell you and you were gone for 6 months and came back, you wouldn't even notice they were changed.
Same hardware, same
Except they
everything.
would operate better. We may change the style of hardware, the outside appearance will look the same, but now when you put your key in, you have to revolve the latch to open it. That's updated hardware.
Small changes.
Minor, very minor change.
And so is,
Yeah, but I'm gonna put that is true. Right now, if you look out at this door and the door downstairs, you can drive a Buick between the
air.
doors. Yeah, and the weather stripping doesn't really do the job properly. So what I'm proposing is we're gonna put a stile in the middle of that door, but it's gonna be be able to be removed.
Okay.
So if you have larger items like furniture, they can come through. But I would rather do that because that is our handicap access door, and to comply with ADA, that door always has to be free to open, and then it stays open. So in order for that to function properly and for us to get the weather stripping that we need, we do have to have a hard stop against that when it closes. That doesn't currently.
so what's the material currently?
The material currently is wood. It's wood. It's either ash or pine that's out there.
And so this is not going to be wood.
This would not be wood. It would be a composite material. It's very stable. It's used industry-wide. It's used all over Faneuil Hall in Boston. It's used in other historic
Public
locations.
buildings, yeah.
Yeah, where they get used. Doors, the doors just don't hold up over time. We got 10 years out of these doors, and that's more than most in New England.
Okay. Do we want to see a photograph? I mean, usually we have photographs.
This is a photograph of the door. The door, it would be duplicated. It would be, the 12 lights, same scenario, same type of door. It would look, visually, it would look the same.
Does it look like wood or does it look like plastic?
Oh no, it looks like wood. You can't tell that they even emboss it if you want, and you have different finishes you can get. I'm going to have him match the finishes there.
And what's the manufacturer?
Well, there's 2 or 3 manufacturers. I was supposed to get catalog cuts from the vendor. Today I did not get them, which is why you didn't see the pictures. But I had that from another bid, which is the same style, the same thing we're looking for.
John, it should be wood-like in appearance, I think is the statement, right?
That's
If we're going to do this.
Right. And it would be. I mean, I would make sure of that.
Right.
And do you have a C of A application? Certificate of appropriateness application?
No, but I can fill one out or whatever it is you need.
Yeah, I think
We need that for consistency.
We technically need it, and if it was exactly the same,
I know.
we have another form, but it's got the style we're supposed to.
I don't have, and what I'll do is I'll fill out the form and I'll just attach a catalog cut to it.
Okay.
That would be great.
Do we have to advertise it or not?
Martha, does this need a public hearing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. If there's a change of materials, then it requires a C of A with a public hearing. But it sounds like there's plenty of time.
But they probably are anxious to order the doors, right?
Yeah, the doors are 5 weeks.
So we've been having to accommodate in this way in the last period because of these supply chain issues.
I think we're sensitive to that. I mean, we can't officially give an approval until a month from now. But Russ, do you have any concerns? Just informally?
No, I don't have any concerns. No, as long as we state it's wood-like in appearance and it is the same visual appearance as the prior door, I don't see a problem that we would vote otherwise. So I think I would be in favor. Yeah.
So
and again, if you went away for 3 months and came back and saw the doors, it would 94 of 100 people wouldn't even notice anything was done except maybe the brass was shining.
What can I say? Not for the record. If they're 5 weeks out, and there's a public hearing in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But we can't vote today without that.
So, but we can give, can we, I'm asking Martha and John, can we give a tentative approval pending the submission of the application?
I don't think formally, but
informally.
So just for your background knowledge, one of the things we're being careful about now is anything that happens, especially here in the town hall, sets a precedent for the historic district.
I understand.
So we have to be very careful. And some people say, oh, this is like wood. But then when we actually get it, we see it doesn't look just like wood. So that's just something we have to be careful about now that materials are changing and climate needs are changing and supply chain needs are changing. I mean, all these things are true for other applicants as well as for the town hall. So we need you to be our sort of
our beacon.
Our beacon, yes, that's right.
I've got 35 years in building management.
Yes.
And I've maintained some historic structures as part of my work. So the reason I'm here is not because I said, well, I'm a facilities guy, I can throw some doors in the town hall and nobody will know.
Here's the scale of concern for all property owners in the historic district. Very concerned about projects, not concerned. You're way at the bottom. Not concerned, but we
Process.
Yeah,
We're trying to encourage people to follow the
people
process.
say, well, how come they got to put in a new door and there was never a hearing and
or they never submitted a CRA, or they never did this and they never did that.
That's right.
You know, they're clipping the corner off the process. Why should I have to do that?
Yeah.
That's right.
I understand. Hopefully I will get catalog cuts from them in the next day or so.
Okay.
I will fill the form out post haste and turn that in.
Great. You can just put it in the mail slot.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other piece is, if you were walking a mile in my moccasins, would you tell the contractor to order the doors?
Oh, yes.
I'm not saying you get the vote. I think I'm hearing yes. Tacitly, but I think I'm hearing yes.
you haven't heard any.
You haven't
I haven't heard no.
You haven't heard any.
You haven't heard any concerns, and we've asked. So
Okay.
I think the questions will make sure if there are people in the audience, we ask at the hearing.
As Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify.
Yes. Trust
And the finish can.
The finish, it'll be a painted finish. It'll be two coats.
Right, and if it's not shiny, like it looks like plastic,
Right, the finish of the door will
Can I
be.
just ask, why wouldn't you, because like we're talking about that we're trying to set the precedent and have the wood, why wouldn't you order wood and just replace what's there?
Because the history is looking at you. The history is looking at you from the street. Unfortunately, those doors are multi-use, and the sidewalks, when they get salt and ice on them, when they get ice on them, they're salted, and the salt etches, especially the bottom stiles of the door.
Because they're exterior and there's no cover.
Right. We have kickboards on, and unfortunately, salt gets behind the kickboards, and we've tried to put weather stripping on the bottom. Salt and aluminum aren't good friends.
And the weather stripping along
the weather stripping and the way those doors were installed in that location doesn't really. It meets the Americans with Disabilities Act, but does not meet any energy efficiency.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point that I guess Tim's making, in that these doors are Phil, that it's different from a residential in terms of the use, the activity, the wear and tear. You know, my front door of my house is very old wood, but it probably hasn't seen the use that these doors see in a year over the lifetime. So it's I think in a commercial high use situation, I think that's another factor here, perhaps compared to a residential.
And are these commercial doors?
They're commercial rated doors, yes. Yes, but the aesthetic will be consistent with what's on the building now.
What would be the timing of the other three doors? I mean, this used to be sort of the secondary,
right,
and that was the primary, and with COVID, we now have the greeter and all that stuff. So the other doors are kind of dog-eared as well.
Right.
Would they be of similar material?
Yeah, what would happen, what I'm hoping happens, is these doors go in, those doors get replaced. 1 July, we do the other doors with the same material, with the same.
You think about whether you want to submit a C of A application for all the doors.
Yeah.
Once they're approved, the approval is good. Typically for 1 year, and then.
John, would you need any judgment by the commission on the back doors down below and up the stairway to the stair going up?
Those are over-the-counter 3068 doors.
I mean, is that what you have in there now?
What I have, in those two locations, just regular, somebody went to Home Depot and got those.
If you're just replacing what's there now,
in kind,
then there's a like-for-like form that's really informational for us, so we have it on file as to when last repair.
But I would, not to stick my foot in my own mouth, but I would like to use the composite material for the replacement of those doors, so you're doing those once.
Well, these are internal doors you're talking about?
No. They're outside. As a matter of fact, you could see from the window the door.
The janitors use that one.
The maintenance door, which still is high use, but it's in the rear of the building.
Right.
And somebody, when it was either the renovation was done or at some point before my tenure, they replaced that door with just the regular one you can get over the counter at Home Depot or Lowe's. I would like to be consistent and put the composite doors in for a bunch of reasons. 10 years from now, I don't want somebody else coming in front of the commission to replace the door.
Right.
Yeah, but consistency.
Then think about including all that in the C of A. If it's different material, we have to have C of A.
I'm trying to meet your requirements, so that's what we'll do. I'll just put all of these in and all of the rest of the front doors in, all in one application, and
that would be great.
We'll have them replaced within a year.
The more information that you can provide so that we have it and is great.
Not a problem. It's not. I haven't seen the form. I'm sure it's not a novel.
Pretty straightforward.
No.
And all I'm going to do is put the form in, indicate the doors and the locations, and then have catalog cuts showing an example of the door.
That's what I was going to say. It's helpful.
I think we're finished business with that.
Helpful to have the illustrations.
And what about that stair back there?
Yeah, that's a separate project, but somebody built a deck on the back off that for the back stairwell, and it's held in the building with tack screws.
You mean right down here?
No, it's on the other side of the building.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't know. Facing the Jones property.
Facing the Jones property on the other side, and it's still there, but we had some issues with the railing, which was not a big thing. Somebody used an interior rail on the outside. It failed over time, but it needs to be rebuilt, and it should be rebuilt with pressure treated material and I would like to use a Trex or equal on that, and it is in the rear of the building. It looks like hell now, and just replace it with one that works and is safe and is maintainable.
That sounds like a different
that would be a
but you're not doing that right now anyway.
No, I do have a bid for him to replace it, and that I definitely was going to bring before you guys anyway if we move forward with that, and I have that information, and I would have catalog cuts for that and have that attached as well.
Yeah.
Just
Could be a separate C of A.
Time crunch. So if you want to start that project in July, then get the C of A.
Right.
So it would be
I may just do that.
We can present it, and then we can have a public hearing.
Yeah, I may just do them both. That would be easier now.
Great.
Good.
Great.
Thank you very much.
So I think we officially, since this is on the agenda, need a motion to table this until the next meeting, and then we'll have a public hearing.
So moved.
Carolyn? Deb seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Very good. Martha,
Yes.
Tim, you got my email about Ned? You got my email about Ned?
About who?
Ned?
Oh, yes.
Okay, right.
He doesn't want to come.
Yeah, bashful.
Okay. I may have a question for you about that, and I'll also fill you in on, it's later on the agenda. We finally got the final tweaks to the attorney's opinion about the map. So there are a couple of things I need to fill you in on. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Martha, Secretary's report.
Okay, so the open C of A's, 38 Lime Street. Dave Vitale is coming in to this meeting to renew that C of A for the renovations to that house, which are continuing. The 97 Lime Street barn. The barn has been finished, so that's okay. There's still an open C of A for the shed, and that needs to be renewed. So we'll ask them to come in June to renew that. And they're not putting up any sort of a fence, so I'm not sure what those other posts are there, but it's not a fence or any kind of structure. So the Ferry Road sidewalk replacement project, they have posted 5 trees for removal. And May 4th, there's a public information meeting at 7:30 in the meeting hall in the town hall for anybody who wants more information. It looks like the bidding on the project will be going out sometime after Labor Day. So it's definitely been pushed forward, into the future some more. And that C of A technically has expired too. And I don't know if we want to renew it or what your thoughts are on that.
Leave it up to whoever submitted it and just inform them that it needs to be renewed if they want to proceed.
Okay. Yeah, it's a huge town project, and it's been very complicated. So we could ask them to come in June and just talk about it a little bit. Once we've had the public information meeting, okay, I'll make a note of that. And then 56 Lime Street, they're still working on the by appointment only section to their sign. They will be coming in to talk about their new C of A for the walkway today. I think the issue for the by appointment only sign is putting the website address on it, which makes it larger. So maybe we can ask them to talk about that. And they are proceeding with some more landscaping. Every time I drive by there, it looks like there's something else there. So, what was that, Deanie?
They've put some evergreens up along in the fronting, on either side of the entrance that I've noted. Yeah.
And then 21 Lime Street, Paul Sagristano's porch enclosure has not been started or anything. But he'll be coming in today to talk about the sheds. And he has submitted a like-for-like for the form for the front steps that he repaired. Yeah. But we don't have a firm ETA on the porch, so maybe we can ask him about that today.
I haven't seen the like-for-like form.
Is that in your in the documents you sent, Martha?
I think it is, yes.
Okay.
I actually couldn't open it, Martha. I tried this morning.
Okay.
You sent one document with one file, I think, with 4 documents on it, but I couldn't open them.
4. I opened them. And,
I did.
I alerted Martha. One was a duplicate, so.
Yes.
But he's apparently bringing the physical copies.
Yes, I asked him to bring his own copies of the forms because he has to sign them anyway. So
Right. That was the question. Okay.
Right. And then the 71 Lime Street, that's the pool. That is still open.
I'm sorry, 47, is 47 not open?
47 apparently has been done.
Okay.
From what I can tell. I'll double check on that.
Okay. 71?
71, that was the pool and also finishing up that stockade fence. I don't have an update on that. I haven't heard anything back about that.
Right.
1 Boston Post Road, that's Jim Graybill's new driveway and everything. That's still in process.
It says here in the minutes, which should be clarified this next time, we actually approved that back in November of last year, I believe. And what we did in March was to we approved it on the conditions specified in the site visit, and so he came in with details about the gate and more information. So we approved the conditions on March 7th. But just so we have in the new minutes, so we have the reference to the date that the project was approved, just in case it carries on longer.
Okay. Yep, I've got that. And then we have the Spears Plumbing, their new windows. I believe that's still in process. That was approved in March, and there was a long lead time to get those windows. And then the 100 Lime Street, the Roger Torrey Peterson sign, and that is still in process.
Right. And they're waiting on materials. Is that delay?
Yes, they were going to replace the posts with identical posts, and they're waiting on materials for that. In the meantime, they're going to put up their sign. I believe they have the sign. They're going to put that up, and
but we have not approved the side brackets or side signs. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because we needed more details on those.
Right.
And that is, those are all of the, I don't think we approved anything special in, the witness stones. There's a sign, witness stone sign at the library, and also some witness stones. And those are still, that C of A is still open. And also the library sign, the new sign for the library itself, is still open.
Didn't we approve the witness stones?
We approved them, but they haven't finished.
Oh, right.
They haven't finished yet, yeah.
Same situation with the actual library sign.
Right.
It's just posts that they're
Yep.
waiting on.
So,
do you have a brief report on the historic plaque program?
The historic plaque, 62 Lime Street, we have a date of 1897 and James Bugby, and I'm still working on confirming that date. It's a little bit vague in the land records. We know that James Bugby owned that property at the time that the house was built. So it's definitely built by James Bugby. It's just hard to nail down the actual date. 1897, he built the Bugby store, which is the J. Elms building. But the date of the house is not laid out clearly in the land records. So we could do circa 1897 or 1895, something like that. That would be approximately right. but we like to be as accurate as we can. So we're still...
I can check my notes on that and see if I can get any closer. I haven't done that, but I'd be glad to. So let me do that in the next couple of weeks and just see if I have anything that's a little more precise. And if not, we can go with the circa.
Okay, that sounds good. And let's see. That's all I have for the plaque program.
Okay.
Thanks,
Great.
Martha.
Thank you. And the next item is the co-chair's report. Do you want me to start?
I don't have a report, so
okay.
By all means.
Well, several items quickly. We have people on the commission have received a notice from Ned Pfeiffer that he is in the process of retiring and is stepping back from his totally volunteer participation on the committee, and we need to decide how to proceed with the matter of acknowledging that. I know some people have individually acknowledged him already. We have had no progress on finding a replacement for the irreplaceable Martha Hanson in her role as secretary. Martha, you're with us through June, is that correct, in this capacity?
Yes, but I'll keep dialing in and updating you and doing whatever I can until we can find somebody.
Okay. Well, we will turn our attention to that.
Our gratitude is beyond measure.
Yes. The difficulty, I think we are now the only commission in town to hold a daytime meeting, and that's a difficulty with finding a secretary. So one possibility is to discuss whether we want to move to an evening if we can't find someone. But that's, Deanie and I will turn to that. I did want to note that there is a proposal being discussed by the Planning and Zoning Board to have a cultural overlay district in the historic district that encompasses the Audubon Society, the Florence Griswold Museum, the Lyme Art Association, and the Lyme Academy. And Deanie and I will be attempting to figure out more. There does need to be discussion with this commission about aspects of that proposal that may overlap with our regulations, because we don't want, obviously, to have the zoning board proceeding without that coordination.
I have quite a bit of information on that Cheryl Poirier sent to us earlier before it was tabled. So there's a variety of ways of handling it. There could be a completely new cultural district, or the cultural district can become part of the Historic District Commission. There's a variety of strategies suggested by the state.
Right.
And one of the things that was holding them back last year on this was that the state, if you adopted this cultural district, there were a number of requirements that the state would implement, such as not limited to, but possibly benches, refuse bins, restrooms, and things that might be at odds with, our situation. And we aren't the only town in Connecticut that they're proposing a cultural district within a historic district. So, point I'm trying to make is we need some more information on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just lastly, a brief note, we've had communications from Connecticut Preservation, or Preservation Connecticut rather. If anyone wants to attend, anyone on the commission wants to attend a New Haven Country Club reception on May 4th for the presentation of Preservation Connecticut Awards, let me know. And
The night of the Tree Commission meeting.
Yeah, gee. And then we also have an acknowledgement from the National Trust for Historic Preservation for our annual contribution. And again, if anyone is planning on visiting a National Trust property, there are some benefits in terms of admission that a representative of the commission could take advantage of. And unless, Deanie, you have anything else,
I don't.
That's it.
Thank you, Todd.
Great. Dr. Jones, welcome. Harold, welcome.
I just want to point out, okay, I'm watching a colony of ants.
Oh, dear.
Carpenter ants, and they're not, but they're seeing
Not under our jurisdiction.
I know it isn't, but I'm just,
As we're saying that, if you look at that door, the gap between those two.
That's where they're coming.
Oh, but that was on your agenda earlier.
Well, I don't know where the ants
Cold
are
air
coming
coming
from,
in.
but they're dancing around the plug there, and they're, I mean, it's ant season, so.
Yes, it is.
yeah, they're here.
Well, this is our monthly visit.
Very
I
nice
know
to
it.
see you. We'll
Nice to
see
meet you.
We look forward
Maybe
to it.
with a
Hi,
little
Debbie.
luck. Well, we don't keep doing this, I thought. And I would think it ought to be short and sweet, but I thought that before. So anyway, where are we? I think we've come to the realization that frankly, there's only one way left for us to go, and we're comfortable with it and have done some more research, mainly getting the Wilcox folks to come and look and see where we can put the generator and the propane tanks. And the only spot is down the north wall, as far back as we can go. And as you all know, we're not enchanted with the idea, but it's really what's left. And they say it's easy to do, and it'll be out of sight, out of mind from the road in terms of...
It won't be in the front.
It won't be in the front, and...
Can you keep the tree?
I'm sorry?
Can you keep the tree?
Yeah, keep the tree. So, and that's been a beautiful tree. I'm glad we didn't take that away. And it hides the generator very nicely. Anyway, but what is what is. And so it's a matter of saying that's where it needs to go. And the folks that need to sort of say it works there is the town, and they will agree to it, and the generator installer people, mainly Wilcox, and what the only remaining part of that is concealing it more if we need to.
We will.
And we will, and it's just a little hard to know till it's in situ how tall something needs to be or wide, but
Our plan is to put lattice and evergreens to hide it as best we can. The things that we had to meet, obviously, is the generator, the regs as far as how far from a window, how the minimum of 10 feet between the gas tank and the, and we have figured that out. So with a picture, we can show you.
I bought a picture. We've got a whole bunch of pictures of us, but this one I'm not sure you have.
Is this new?
No, it's one of the old ones.
This is,
Okay, I have.
is that in part of the original?
It might be,
Well,
but
at any rate, the one that really matters,
I can show you, Debbie, that this is where
It is right now.
Okay, and we're going to put it back.
Is this the,
yeah, that sort of, yeah, it's going to go way back here, but you know, another way to see
Oh, I
that
don't care.
is an aerial shot,
Yes, it would be
which is sort of,
right
that's
about
middle
here.
picture.
Well, this is the side view.
Just show us
It would be here.
Okay.
expecting to.
So it's
Yeah, that
below
picture will show
two
that.
windows.
Oh,
Because it can't.
But the one that, can we have one?
And
Yeah, we should-
tanks are going to go down and here.
Carol, could you explain for
Sure.
us?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
Which is helpful.
I think we were talking about the same thing, which is actually
Yes.
where it will go.
Well, if
That's
you,
that picture, and I'll show it to you at the same time.
well, I think he's saying not both of us speak at the same time. I think we're over.
We were, and you were.
I know.
1, 2. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Carol. You first.
Okay, well, ladies first, there you go. All right, here we are at the front of the building, so we're going to get rid of it there. We're going to bring it around. Now, here's the aerial shot of,
Okay, here's the
here we
aerial
are,
shot.
coming
There's
down.
the
This
street.
is the north
There
side,
it is. And
facing
we
our
move it
neighbors
to
over
there.
here. And so we're going back to about here, which is actually, here's a side view of it. It's
Here's
going
this
to go
picture.
under these windows.
And-
Under these windows?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way back.
And
Yeah.
then on the corner, the back corner of the building will be the tanks,
Right.
which we
Right
will
here.
conceal too. The things that we had to consider, again, there had to be a minimum of 10 feet between the tank and the generator. The generator had to be out 5 feet from the house, and it couldn't be near, on the rear of our shed here is a door, and it can't be near the door. And then the windows also. But these windows being what they are, then we can just shut them off.
Yeah, actually, and that relative to those two windows, the generator actually can be closer to the house, not recommended, but it can be. But if you do that, you have to seal these windows.
Meaning
so
you have to
shut them permanently.
so they can't be opened.
The whole
But they
thing
can still
is to
remain
try-
glass.
Oh, for sure.
The intent, obviously, is to keep
Carbon
fumes,
monoxide.
carbon from getting into the building.
Which, and nobody's going to live in the building in any way. It's just our...
The mice, think of the
well.
mice. Anyway, so that's, I mean,
And the ants.
and the ants.
The tanks will be at the end of the building.
Okay.
And
They
again,
can't
we
go-
will hide them, you know, with
And will they
whatever.
be upright tanks or the,
No.
or the horizontal?
These
They-
are- Go ahead.
They could be either salamander, I mean, the horizontal, or they could be the upright. Mike McCarthy says he can do either, but with the configuration of things that are there, he feels the upright tank would be better, in his opinion.
Why?
Because it just, where the...
They will
where
go right here,
Yes.
and the otherwise
There's
it goes...
a stone wall there.
Stone, it'll go way down here. From the point of filling it...
Because of the door
it's-
also on the
yeah,
end.
There's a door here, and it can't be... So he said the way to keep them away from that door and a low profile there, well, about that high, easy to hide.
We have one now, you know, on the other side of the house for our gas. And we figured, okay, I went up with that, it would go against the back, and we can lattice it and put something. There's a really nice vine that's growing up there now that we're nurturing. I don't want to look at it, you know, and so forth. And I think it would be all right.
So would that tank not come up above the windowsill?
No, they'd be at the corner of the building.
It's further back. It's back here.
Yeah.
That's-
It won't block the window. It will be after the window.
Okay.
To the rear, but yes.
After
You would
this
block
one,
the
it's
window or
back.
not? You could screen it without blocking the window?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
And the same with the generator, it's low enough to go under here. So when we screen it, we'll still be able to see the
Windows.
The windows, everything will stay the same. And this, of course, is Matilda's art window that we didn't want to mess with in any way. And so we'll just have to have something here and then something with the tanks.
But I think this view of the building
Is really
It's
not
special.
well.
I think it's more special than the front.
Yeah.
Myself.
So that's what we propose.
And we're going to keep all the, the dips and so forth, because I like that as long as it's structurally sound.
And the lattice will be the brown
Cedar.
one that we, okay.
The cedar,
Okay.
yeah, we like cedar.
Yep.
I thought this
Don't
was
like
a
the
helpful
price,
view.
Could we keep one for the
Sure.
car package?
Well,
Sure.
depends on how this comes out. Yeah, of course you can. So I think it's a
Were
helpful
they
one.
submitted? Did you
No.
submit these?
I don't
This
think
one,
we-
this
Well,
one is new.
Okay,
if that
great.
one's not, it may be a.
And we've got another one.
We can give you another one if you want. You want a couple?
Well, one is fine.
But it's not ideal for any of us in a way. I mean, but it needs to happen, and I really am at wit's end to figure out what else we can do to.
No, this is, we really, appreciate,
No.
we understand it's been difficult.
Are you planning
Appreciate
to
your-
move the concrete slab, or are you going to put
It's
in
not
another
You
one?
mean under the generator?
Yeah.
It lifts up. It's a piece
Portable.
that's
Oh, good.
portable. They put a
Oh, okay.
forklift
Oh, that's
under.
good.
I mean, just the expense of moving the whole.
Yeah, that'll be gone, yeah. It'll go with the generator, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Russ, any questions?
Hello. Oh, I'm good. This is
No, you haven't
this is
been
Russ.
able to
John.
see the photos, but
No, I heard this. I heard the basic description, and I really appreciate all the effort here. So, thank you, Mr. and Ms. Jones.
So thank you for.
is there a message to approve the,
A motion, I move we approve the amended CMA.
okay,
I will second.
well, conditions are screened by, that this is moving the generator and slab and installing them as described on the north side of the house, to be screened by lattice and evergreens that are as tall enough to screen.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think that it should be put in place and then design what's needed.
Yeah.
There's already significant bushes, these things that we cut down routinely, these
The grasses,
Right.
yeah.
grasses, and they can be let grow year round. And so, I mean, we don't have to buy a
No,
bunch of
okay,
bushes.
it doesn't have to be evergreen.
People assure you will hide them. And if we have to buy stuff, fine. We've got
Even a
lattice things. You had to buy them.
Even as I'm saying, again, it's evolving. Once you see it, you kind of get the idea of what to place where. But the thought of a sign that covers a lot of it, we just from the back end allow access for the maintenance, fill up, and we're aware of that, so you have it. So whatever we do, it will be year-round height.
So, change that. It doesn't have to be evergreen. But screen with plantings that hide it year round.
Right.
And I will second Carolyn's motion.
Russ is agreed.
I'm interested in what vine you're using.
that Martha, is that on your end, or Russ on your end, the child?
Sorry,
I think that's
me,
Chad. Yep.
Oh, that's Chad.
I didn't know if you guys could hear me or not. I didn't know how it was set up.
Okay, you're up in about 15 seconds, I think.
Okay, I'll just mute my end. Sorry.
Excuse me. Right now, it's a climbing hydrangea that's there, but I don't know that
doesn't leak out, because I'm looking for one, so let me know later.
Yeah,
Ivy.
maybe Ivy does for sure. How about some hops? No, I mean, we'll look into that for sure and make sure that, yeah, okay, great.
Okay.
Can I ask one question this time? We also are in the process of looking at, we have leaky, rotten windows on the house. And our carpenter has looked at them all, and what they need is what you call a like-for-like, because it would be him finding the rot and replacing it exactly, whether it's a trim board or a sill, with exactly what is there. It does not interfere at all with the sashes. The sashes will remain as they are. It's totally the exterior sill or the trim, and they are, as I said, they're leaking, and the storms on them are also in shambles and don't fit, and we're going to take the storms down and we would like to replace them with the same kind of, with a storm glass. They've got plexiglass, and we're going to go with a glass storm that blends in exactly, so hopefully it won't look like it's there.
And the other thing that's like is
the door.
Our front door
is rotted.
Is rotted. No surprise. So we need to replace it. The plan is to replace it as it. Is it a permit thing, or what do we need to do?
Well, there's a like-for-like form, which is really informational, but if you're using the same material, same size,
same hardware,
nothing
is changing.
The material's slightly different in general these days. Is probably using AZAC rather than pine, but they look the same.
Because it's not the same.
If you're changing the
material.
Yeah, we're
as if we need to.
Yeah, we're planning on going like for like. I think that the talk.
And you're planning on having it not be AZAC but being wood?
We're planning on having it wood, except that our carpenter is encouraging us to. The sills are very, in our last house we put AZAC on, which is, you paint it and it looks just like wood. It's fabulous stuff. And you can't tell the difference when you look at it. So he thinks we should go with AZAC. Is that a problem?
It's probably, I can't think it would be a problem. Usually we have, we've made exceptions for things that are off the street, but for things on, right on the street, we've said, well, sure, AZAC is fine, but Carolyn's right that if it's a different material, you have to do a C of A.
Okay.
Just photographs and some way to assure us that it will look the same as the wood. We still like wood, but we understand that AZAC is more practical, and so just the same process that you've done.
And it does really look.
No, the same process except one meeting.
Well,
no public hearing, John?
No, that's what I mean, but not floor appearances.
Yeah. Well, I think that AZAC, you can make it. You can duplicate exactly whatever the wood is. You can do. It would be exchanging exactly as it is,
And it's in a very damp place on the particular roof situation there. There's no gutter, and it's wet. And it's just an invitation to the same thing going on all over again. Again, this is our fourth old house, and we've frankly used AZAC a lot to replace rotten old wood and stuff. And I think it.
It's interesting for us to have a record going forward. I guess no one better than Carolyn to acknowledge this. But
Well, I mean, if you were to tell us today you can't use AZAC,
we have
back in the same.
We have approved AZAC. I don't foresee any difficulties, but again, since it is different,
then
The C of A rather than the like for like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said the door, with the replacement door, would be exactly the same material, but the sills and the surround would be AZAC. Is that what you said, or will the actual door itself be AZAC? I'm not.
The door itself doesn't need to be replaced. I think the exterior door, there's two doors, and the exterior door is a little rotted. We're going to evaluate that, I'm talking about the frame.
Just the frame.
The frame and the threshold.
Threshold.
Yeah, and the same with the windows, the surround, and it's pretty plain. It's a certain width and so forth, and pretty plain. I will also mention that you see that there are windows above the door in the front. However, the people before us, those are plexiglass. That's a sheet of plexiglass.
Really?
With cheater.
It is, and it's falling apart. It's ill fit. We've had a winter of cold, and I have old bullseyes that I have gotten, and my plan is to replace it with my carpenter will build a transom with the old bullseye, and that's what we're going to put up there, which should be there to be anyway. I mean, what's there is awful.
good.
I think it's a big improvement for the house,
And just for the record keeping, appreciate the submission of the.
Okay,
we have that, and because it's such an important house, it's good documentation to have. Take this over time.
So in appropriate time, which may be fairly soon, we'll submit another.
Okay, so a C of A.
And that to give you more money.
Otherwise we would miss you.
Okay.
John, did we vote on the motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Russ.
We did. And
okay,
all
right.
In favor,
I'm in favor. I just didn't. I couldn't quite hear. There's the child on the phone. So.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Well, it's one of those Friday mornings or Monday mornings we look forward to. I sense we'll be back, but I think the next is pretty easy compared with this.
Yeah. Great.
Good. Thank you. We really do understand that.
Let me know your buying research.
I will. Don't expect it next week.
I won't. No, just interested.
It will take
informational.
And I'm going to, to barter, let's say, whenever you get a chance to check out the builder of the house, if you ever come across the builder of the house.
Way back.
I don't know the builder.
No, but I mean, when you come across things and everything, if you happen to see anything,
unlikely to know that.
You and I agree, it's not just.
If that sign is inappropriate.
Oh, you don't mean the builder, you mean the person who had it built. I thought you meant the actual builder.
No, I mean,
never
whose property it was.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, okay. Anything, I'm happy to know.
Okay, great. I sure will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, you're up.
Hey,
Hey.
how you doing?
We're proceeding as best we can.
All right. Sorry I couldn't make it in. I had like a 2-month wait list for a dentist appointment for my wife this morning, and
Oh dear.
she has the car.
Okay.
I know I can walk down there, but I thought it was going to rain, and I have the baby, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the agenda is basically for today the HVAC screening, and my recollection is you were going to investigate a lattice or fencing, and
Yes.
And we don't. The comments about shrubbery or something that would also help screen that year-round, the choice is up to you, but as you may have heard from our previous conversation, it needs to be something that would be effective year-round as a screen.
Sure. So we were thinking of about doing an evergreen straight in front of that, forward a little bit. So it would be directly in front. It would be screened all year round, and we can add bushes that go around the big bush there to make it all year round. We did do some plant research. It's kind of, and it's hard to say what'll be available when we go back to buy, but I'm just looking at, so you'd want something that's, well, what we were thinking was get something that's around 4 feet tall, and it'll grow into 6 feet. So we have or 8 feet, depending on what you guys are looking for screening height. But we were thinking of doing some juniper. I think there was sorry, I'm just looking through my plant pictures here. I think there was a evergreen bush in that spot at one point. Anyway, so it would be consistent.
And is this alongside? I'm asking a question of folks who can see the diagram you submitted. Is the long side of the HVAC visible also from the streets?
Not too much because of these other.
But this is seasonal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of. I'm curious as to how far we consider visibility, because at the very corner of our property, or even from the pastor's house, you can see our house through the trees, and that's a really big stretch. And I'm happy to. I think we're planning on putting boxwood around that big bush anyway, and so it kind of becomes layered. And my thoughts were go for something bigger in the front and let the boxwood grow in. Here, I got you. And let the boxwood grow in as it wraps around the big bush. Because otherwise it'd be thousands of dollars just to screen the bush that's seasonal.
And you had, this would be in front of the a lattice?
Yes. There's like a 15-foot bush that's right next to the HVAC that's seasonal, and we were thinking outside that bush, wrapping around that bush as a layer of evergreen that will mature to 6 to 8 feet and cover that so you won't ever see it. That's right. We're going to cover that.
Dad, what would be the height of the boxwood?
I mean, I'm happy with anywhere between 4 feet and 8 feet. So I defer to you guys on that.
Well, typically our practice is to say it needs to be sufficient height to at least as high as the HVAC itself.
Sure. I'd say from the street it'll be different than when you're right up to it. So we can always just watch it from the street view and make sure it's covered adequately. Because there's a slope there. It's hard for me to tell what it would be visually.
And is this lattice a pre-constructed lattice? Is it one with?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
She says no. It's not pre-constructed. I mean, we went by your place and we took pictures of your lattice. So I was thinking about something like that, framing it out, obviously, not just putting just the lattice on the beams, or the posts. Yeah.
And the post.
Yeah. We would use yours as a reference.
Okay.
But just make it all white since we don't have green shutters or anything.
Right.
I know yours has green.
Chad, back to the evergreen screening. Of course, the
Yes.
plant material is your choice, but in my experience, boxwood rarely is taller than, say, 4 feet. And most boxwoods, when you buy them in the nursery, unless you buy a very expensive one, are quite small and they're quite slow growing. So I would like you to consider whether or not boxwood is, if you're looking 4 to 8 feet, if you're looking at even 5 to 7 feet, it's unusual to have boxwoods unless they're, decades old, really literally decades, that are that large.
Yeah,
so they're beautiful plants and we love them, but they don't tend to be tall plants.
There is the hedge at Boxwood.
But how old is that?
It's privet, right? Yeah, that's privet. Yeah.
So it's privet.
Yeah, I mean the HVAC measurements you submitted were 65 inches high, so that's about 5.5 feet. That's what.
Yeah, I understand.
But
I was unaware that boxwood didn't really grow that high. Yeah. I just assumed. We would be planting something along the lines of a blue point juniper that covered. I gotta go, guys. I can't. It's really hard to do this right now. She's getting upset, and I'm the only one here, so.
Well, I mean, can we? Are you content if we approve it and specify that the screening needs to be at least as high as the HVAC, and then leave it up to you to
find the adequate,
the specific planting?
Of course. I mean, we've found a 6-foot blue point juniper to get the initial growth going. Since we are doing a screening and a planting, or since we're doing a lattice and a planting, is there leadway as to the time of coverage that you guys will offer us? I don't see a lot of people doing both, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we have to give them some option of having a plant grow. If they're
I think so too, Chuck, but within, let's say, a 5 to 7 year time frame, what's the expected growth? I mean, we wouldn't expect it to be at its full height, tomorrow, but also not to take 30 or 40 years or even maybe 10 years. So, just be reasonable.
That sounds like a deal.
And have something, in within 3 to 4 years, if it could be at the 6-foot height, so it would be screening completely, that would be great.
Okay, that sounds great. And I would put the effort in. I mean, that sounds lovely, and I'll put the effort in making sure even with the lattice, that what's straight in front of the house, you won't see it sooner than that. I'll try to get something 6 foot now for the direct front view, and then grow in the rest. Okay, great.
Okay.
Great. Well,
Don,
we do
you
need
made
a motion.
Is there a second?
Okay, so
repeat the motion, please, John.
The motion is to approve the HVAC with screening, the screening to consist of a lattice work similar to the one at 110 Lime Street, and additional shrubbery that would additional shrubbery that would, on a year-round basis, screen
the side view and everything.
the side
side
view
view and the lattice, yeah.
and the front view.
Okay.
But again, that just leaves obviously choice of we don't dictate what you plant. So
Right.
as long as it's
Okay.
effective at the screen.
Well, my wife just finished her master's, and we're ready to plant.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Deb, do you have a second?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Chad, thank you
Okay,
very
thanks,
much.
Chad.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you. Thanks for the phone call. All right. Say thanks, Lou.
Right, good luck. We look forward to seeing how it turns out. Thanks very much.
Oh, yes. All right. We'll do a great job for you. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is Paul Sagristano. This is for 21 Lime Street.
Printer to cooperate, so we took some pictures.
Yeah, we didn't have final C of A's, and you sent one that was a duplicate. You sent the shed ones and not the
Yeah,
HVAC.
well, again, we have the same problem. We couldn't get our printer to cooperate.
Oh dear.
So, I mean, I'll get you guys the documentation. But right now what we're talking about is we built this for the garbage cans and this for wood. We plan on painting it to match the house. So it should, basically blend in. This is on the old driveway, which is on the north side of the house, which we plan on removing and just putting down grass.
Oh, you are?
Maybe a
You're
path.
removing the driveway back there.
I'm sorry?
You're removing the north driveway.
Yeah.
What's your time frame on both the painting and the driveway removal?
Well, the painting will happen sometime this spring, maybe, it's hard to say. I mean, try to find a painter right now. Even Mike.
What about you?
You know what? I haven't been able to do it. I've had several surgeries over the last couple of months. And
Sure.
I've been completely out of commission since January.
Yeah, okay.
So,
But hopefully this spring would be, the painting would take place.
yes, yeah, we'll get this done. We don't like it that much either. Now for the second thing, this is just showing one side of the house. We're doing HVAC, and we cannot take the house completely apart as a post and beam and plaster and that. So we're going to do ductless. I'm going to see what we can do about. If I was given my druthers, I would try to put the ducts inside and box them out.
Right.
But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. We don't seem to be able to find any installers who, will do it that way. And we've been through a half a dozen of them, so most likely the ducts are going to come down along that side of the house.
Is that what are we looking at there?
Okay,
Where's the street pole?
This is the north side of the house.
Okay.
So the street's right in front.
So it's basically like where Chad
So
is.
it's quite visible, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite visible.
Yes.
From the street, from the
So
front.
it can't be back anywhere.
No.
Where does the HVAC unit go? So we're talking about two things, both the ducts and the unit itself, right?
Right. Yeah.
So-
the guy
let's
on
take those
the
separately.
corner.
Do we have a C of A for this?
I
We
mean,
don't have a C of A.
Okay, we don't have a C of A for this yet, right?
I sent them all to Martha. I guess one.
Then maybe we do.
of them was a little iffy.
I don't. I'm pretty.
But it's basically, as I'm telling you, we're trying to keep everything in as close approximation to the corner, so because we plan on doing gutters as well. We'll come back when we finally get that. Try to make it look appealing, but it is what it is. The folks at Watermelons always had one of these on the outside. And then they've got a really big one. Those folks at the corner lot now, the old Brainerd house, They got 3 or 4 of these things running down the side of the house.
So I'm just not picturing it, what they look
Yeah,
like.
you'll have to send us pictures, yeah.
You haven't seen it on the side of the Brainerd house?
I've seen the
Yes, they're like a gutter in the middle of the side of the house.
Okay.
You know, and that's why we'll try to clump them together as much as we can. You know, we don't like it either, but it's kind of out of necessity. Since we've been working on
is there an HVAC outside?
So where will the HVAC unit go?
The unit we're going to try to tuck behind the holly bush. And
behind that, on the other side of the window.
yeah,
there.
right here. Yeah.
By the meter?
Oh, you mean on?
No, the meter's way back here. Yeah, no, we're going to try to tuck it here, and if we need to, we'll happily, you know, screen it with something.
It's exactly the same situation as Pittman.
Okay, so this side of the house is all
to the street.
Except it's much closer to the street.
is all flat.
So could you
yes.
not put is it not possible to put the HVAC unit further to the rear of the house?
No.
Away from, just someplace where it's not visible from the street? That's what we're
It's
asking.
just not possible.
Why?
Because the 2 rooms that are being done are on the 3rd floor and on the 2nd floor here. And, you know, the ducts have to go where the units are.
But why could the unit not go farther to the rear?
Because they're not in the same rooms. These rooms are being done, this room here and here are being captured by the new air conditioning and heating system that we put in as we started doing the rear of the house. But these, unfortunately, the ducts have to be where the units are inside the house. And then you have to bring them and attach them into the unit itself.
How many
So
units?
do they have to be directly vertical?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Have you?
I'm sorry?
How many units?
Well, there's going to be 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. But the other side, we're hoping we can put. You know, we're going to try to hide the actual compressor on the porch. You know, and keep it behind the.
You mean actually on the porch?
Yes.
You could put it on the porch?
Not the porch itself, on the.
Other side of the porch.
No, on the actual deck on the 2nd floor, on the other side of the house, the south side of the house.
So all these things, because it's so hard for us to visualize it, you're going to have to give us photographs. For example, this unit would be how tall and how wide and how deep?
They're going to be about 3 feet tall and maybe 4 feet wide. They're smaller than certainly the one you guys were just talking about. They're not particularly large. I mean, we're feeling we could probably tuck it behind this, behind this holly bush, and then we could probably, if
Would
we
you
need
have to move the holly? The holly looks quite close to the house.
It actually, there's a good solid 6 inches. You know, we might have to trim it back just a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about it. You know, I mean, we no longer have the ability to heat the house because of the other system that went in. And, it's just not, if I can get them to do it inside, I will. But as I said, it just doesn't seem, it's like trying to get somebody to give me a box when the only thing they know how to make is a circle. They do it one way, but I'll get you some pictures of the
unit,
the old Brainerd's house and the unit itself.
No, but we need pictures of your house.
This is my house.
I mean, we need pictures that will show us the relationship of the unit to your house, and we can go I think we need to make a site visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we do that, Paul?
Yeah,
if
that's
we
fine.
just come and walk around it? Yeah.
So your proposal is that the unit, that air conditioning unit on the northwest corner of the house would be installed 6 inches from the house?
Yeah, I mean,
as
close
and then
as
it
we
would
can.
be 3 feet wide by 4 feet long? Is that?
3 feet high by 4 feet wide.
And how deep?
It's probably about 6 inches deep.
Okay. 3 by 4 by 6. By 6 inches.
Yes. And then here's the other one we're planning on we're trying to place it up here. This is about 42 inches. This is on the south side, the deck on top. The handrail on the deck is about 42 inches, and that should slide behind there. if we need to do another little lattice in there, we'll do something to contain it as much as possible. But unfortunately,
because that looks even almost more visible.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, sitting up there on the deck.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe
You can't go to the rear of the deck?
So that's what it would do. It would be about up against the house.
I mean on the east side, so we're talking about the
just
south.
back on the other, or does it have to go right at the front of that?
I mean, those are the rooms. And
Yeah.
That's how the
Same situation
works. When we get to the far side of the deck, we're at a bathroom, not the bedroom. The bedrooms are right in the front on Lime Street. So.
And would that, what would be the size of that unit?
It would be the same size.
What was the size of the unit?
3 feet
They're about
by 4
3
feet by 6
by
inches.
6
6
inches.
inches.
Yes.
Well,
Plus the sheds, we need to check the sheds also, right? So do a site visit so there are 3 things being proposed. Or are you proposing the driveway also, Paul?
Not yet.
I don't know that we have anything to say about moving
It's not a structure, right? Okay.
And then there's you guys wanted to talk about the like-for-like staircase removal. Our stairs were all rotted, and so were the structures supporting them.
And are the railings new as well?
Yes.
And all wood?
No, the kicks are AZEC. I mean, the stairs are wood.
Right.
The stairs are Ipe.
And are you replacing AZEC?
No, it's been done.
If it was AZEC before, it wouldn't have rotted.
Right, but then it's not a like for like because you've got
right. But
different
this is what
material.
Martha told me, and when I was on the commission, like for like meant, physically, aesthetically, what it looked like. I don't know if the rules have changed.
Martha?
Yes?
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yep.
We just had this conversation with the Joneses. I mean, we can correct things with them, but my understanding, if necessary, but my understanding was if it's a different material, you under our current regs, you need a C of A.
Yes, that's right. If those are state regulations for historic districts. If there's any change of material, I wasn't aware that the railings were different. So technically, if you change the materials, when these regulations were made, there was no such thing as AZEC. They're pretty old, so they may be a bit out of date, but they are what they are.
But that's fine. I can make a certificate or C of A application here. That's not a problem. But as the other gentleman who was speaking to it, I mean, if you're going to rebuild something in this area, you're silly to do it with. I mean, people think cedar lasts. It doesn't. Trust me, it lasts no time.
Right.
You're better off with pine, but pine doesn't last either, and then you need to paint it every year. It would be a fool's errand to do it wrong a second time. And this is the third time we've had this done because the people before us, or maybe the people before the people before us, there used to be a crumbly old set of concrete and stone stairs in there, and to build them you had to try to rest structural members on top of these rickety rocks and shim them up, etc. And after a few years, everything starts disintegrating.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to suggest too that doing it properly the first time with a material that will last will, in fact, prevent us from having to go through this process every few years. And
I'm sure you'll like it better than.
I mean, if we know what's going to be here,
right? And it's going to be
not
white.
going to be suggested to be changed in 7 years,
right?
By potentially another owner or anyway.
Right, no, I mean,
It seems to me that the AZAC is a decent solution to.
No, it is. I mean, it really does. If you're standing right up against it, you can tell there's no real grain like wood or cedar if you had done it like this. But, I mean, I can hit it with a hose and clean it up, and after 10 years, if it doesn't look so hot, I can paint it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And AZAC holes paint great, so it doesn't. Hopefully,
clean the
hopefully
mold
by
off
then
of it and everything.
we'll have found a smaller place.
Okay. So to try to move things along, my understanding is, and obviously, Paul, down the road, it's helpful to come in before you build things,
Yes.
but that all we need for the sheds is, but others fill in, is the signed C of A, because we have a copy, but it's not signed.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go get the printer to work, et cetera, and I'll get it back.
For the HVAC, we never got a copy of that C of A.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's fairly simple.
Right.
HVAC system.
Yeah, that's our biggest concern.
But to note to note in writing the specifications,
Right.
to have
a
pictures
photograph,
that
yeah.
show what these ducts look like, maybe from the Brainerd house, all that would be very helpful. And then a C of A for the change materials on the steps. And we have instituted a practice of having a site visit. So in the interim, we'll propose to
we'll come and just look at, because I think that
for 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I mean, if there's no way to tuck it behind this bush or anything, not really sure how to go about the best way to put it in there, because I mean, all of a sudden sticking something there and throwing lattice around it kind of kerfuffles the whole thing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's look at that, because when we're looking at it time and time again here.
Well, I mean, in these old houses, it's really
tough.
I mean, it's not easy for me to go in there and get, I got to break away all the plaster and try to find a way to get, I mean, I could do the air conditioning, the small little hole air conditioning, but I can't do heat.
Yeah.
And even though we've got that new addition off the back, which we're heating with propane, and it got a whole new system, we don't have a way to heat the front.
Yes.
Now, so I mean, it's really
we
got to find a way to do it all.
As an owner of an old house, I really sympathize.
Yeah, no, I know. Most everybody here owns an old house, but it's it's just kind of difficult. I don't know what else to say. And I'll tell you, it's really gotten bad here. I don't know, the weather's been changing, etc. But we spend like an entire weekend every year. Just with like a couple of rags and Clorox mix, cleaning up because we never had anything but the rolling or the window air conditioners, and they just don't work. They don't regulate the house, and we spend literally days cleaning up the mold on the windows on the muttons.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I mean, I could find a better way to spend a weekend.
You already work very hard.
What's that?
You already work very hard.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just, now with these, with what I've been going through, I'm really having a hard time getting up ladders. So I'm going to have to start relying on other people to do the painting. And yeah, I mean, exactly. We've got 2,500 square feet of new house going online right now. And that's a dozen or more 12 over 12 true divide windows, and it's going to take, I mean, right now we can't find a good painter.
Right.
It can get to us before June or July.
Yeah, I know a good painter, and he's already completely booked for the year.
Right. No, I know it. I don't know what the hell happened, but this pandemic, really triggered the building.
Well, we've seen it. We've had, in the last few months, just an extraordinarily full agenda.
Yeah, I bet.
People coming in with projects. Anyway, well, thank you. So I think we do need to vote to table this to the next meeting, pending a site visit and submission of the C of A related
I thought I had
materials.
the correct C of A's in here, but it looks like I'm going to need to get one in for the steps anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Is there a second for the motion to table on these conditions? Carolyn seconds. All in favor?
All I want to do is find a way. Aye.
Okay. Great. And then next on the agenda is, where's my agenda? Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
70 Lime Street.
70 Lime Street.
Margaret Mandel.
Yes.
Okay. Hi.
We met last year about the witness stuff.
Oh, yes, yes.
We had a nice chat.
Okay.
The windows.
This is replace existing windows with traditional wood windows. And thank you for submitting the photos. So tell us what you're proposing. Is it these gelled windows?
Yes.
Windows?
Right. The windows that are currently installed do not function. They're not energy efficient. There's also storm windows. It's impossible to open or close any of them. So they need to be replaced.
Okay. And how many?
All of them.
Which is how many?
29. It's either 29 or 30.
Okay. I'm glad you're taking notes.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying.
And double hung or all of them double hung windows?
Yeah, they're exactly what's on the house.
Okay.
The 2/2.
Do you have the picture? We have all the pictures.
Well, we've got a pic. Yeah, this is the.
And what is the material of the window?
Well, the existing windows or
The existing is wood, yes.
These are wood.
The replacement is wood, yes.
Okay.
So you don't have any divided panes?
Yes, there's a vertical pane, a vertical divider rather.
In other words, you've got this. There's this picture of a double hung, right?
Right, that's a standard picture of the type of window, but if you look at the windows.
These are the ones you're using. So you've got 20, 26, and 1.
And there's another one, I think it's actually 29.
Oh, I see, okay. 26, 27, 28, so 28 in all. And that's what they look like now, the
Yeah.
4 panes?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what or maybe it says on here, what the bars are, the width of the bars?
The width?
The mullions?
The mullions?
I don't know if it says on there.
It probably does.
But
It probably does. Somewhere here.
But are those, do you know, are those identical to what the width is?
is identical as something can be to replace windows that were made, who knows when.
Right.
So are these replacement windows? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
Yes, of course. Yep.
Yeah, I don't. I don't see these. that measurement.
What's a shadow bar? That has 2 eyes on it. Oh, it's here. Anyway, I think it sounds like...
When typically we grant these with a year to complete with ordering times and backlogs.
Well, I think the last we heard they were running about 16 weeks till we can actually take possession of the windows, and then about another 3 weeks or so to install everything.
Right before next winter.
Well, that was kind of the idea. Originally, the idea was going to be sometime in the summer, but it doesn't seem to be happening.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate any concerns about the mullions, John, and if not, it seems as if it's...
Yeah, we wanted something that kept the integrity of the house.
Yes.
And the neighborhood.
And was identical to what's in there, because we happen to also like it, and that we wanted it to be wood.
Yes.
And not a composite.
Right.
Or a vinyl.
And then what's happening with the storms? Are they just...
hopefully
they'll all be gone.
Yeah.
That will be a big improvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't work anyway.
Note that down in removal of storms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, my concern about the mullions was just I have seen windows with really thick bars. And that's my concern. I'm not trying to... It doesn't hinge on that. And I get a sense from these pictures that it's pretty standard, but I just was curious if you knew exactly. Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the windows.
I second.
Carolyn seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yep.
Aye, yep.
Thank you. Okay, great.
I just want to
Really?
I just want to tell you how great it looks.
Oh, thank
Lovely.
you.
Well, it looks lovely.
The lawn is a work in progress, because we keep being told not to seed it yet, because seed is so expensive. And we should do it in the fall, but you said that last year too.
I thought that. Just great.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a cute little house.
It's a cute little house.
Great. Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
That's
very
great.
much so.
Have you even moved in yet, right?
Oh, no, they've
Oh,
been
no,
there.
we've been there
For a year and a half or so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't you say you were living in Madison in an Airbnb?
Oh, that was
No, we
during-
were there, we've been doing our kitchen.
Okay,
While
right.
that was happening, we went
Right.
in there.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, we moved in September of 2020.
Yeah.
Good, nice to see you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
you too.
Take care.
Thanks very much.
Bye, thank you.
Okay.
Where have I lost my agenda?
Next, we're the Halkerty.
Okay. Here it is.
Okay.
How are you?
Hi.
How's it going?
Well, so I have, I think everybody else has copies. They don't have one thing, which is these little samples.
It's really just to give a sense of color. They can color the cement rather than it just be a plain cement color.
Right. And is this the actual material?
No. I mean, these are
sample?
grout samples actually.
Okay.
But they're fairly accurate as far as what the color will be.
Where is this
Those
actually
are plastic.
going?
Yeah, where is it actually?
Where is it going?
There was a nice drawing.
Right in front of the building. So
In front of the barn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
From
the new structure that was built.
Okay.
So it'll be on the street
So
facing
this
side
is-
and then the north side, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is the street side?
Nope. I'm sorry. So it's
Oh, I see.
So this is the street. This would be the street here, and then so our building has two double doors here, and kind of an overhead garage door on the side.
Okay.
And so the reason we would like to use cement rather than, I would love to use a natural material like slate or brick or something like that, but we do need to run a pallet over this occasionally. So we bring clay into our building.
Where is it going? It's coming out and then coming around to the back?
Our driveway is right here.
Yeah.
Coming in, and then we would have a little kind of, well, this is our doorway, so a little step into the door, and then the pallet or the sidewalk will run along the
So
side.
it's 4 feet and then it's further to the door. That's 5 feet at the door?
Yes, about 5 feet at the door, correct. So, yeah.
And is bluestone not an option? Or something like that? A more traditional natural material?
The only problem is the gaps and things that come in between the natural material. When we're pulling a pallet, couldn't be 3,000 pounds on it. And so any little bump in the road kind of trips us up.
Yeah, I have.
So this is a printed or a stamped concrete. Is what it gives the kind of look of a stone.
I know, I saw it. I looked at some others too. It doesn't look like a natural material to me.
That's my concern, that I think sort of thinking that we want to have your new barn feel more like it might have been existing, and and so adding this material makes it look even, it sort of comes back to being somewhat more commercial. I mean, the bluestone isn't that bad.
So how is this applied if it's cement?
It's poured.
When it's poured, while it's wet, they stamp the
pattern.
The pattern.
Texture. Paul, what would be your second choice? If you weren't to use that, if you were not to use that, what would be the next best thing for your practical needs?
I've looked at concrete or pavers. That was another thought, which looks more like a brick. Has a brick look to it. I don't know that like a red brick would work for us, but they're concrete pavers. They're very strong and durable and can be laid very flat too.
What is the walkway at your house?
It's slate.
Right.
And that's why we were kind of choosing to use a slate pattern for the stamped area.
What would is this to scale? What would the width be?
So it's a 4 foot width here and 4 feet here. So
okay, a little wider there.
It can be something too where we try to mask this a little with a planting on the side here, some sort of ground cover like a hosta or something that would just visually from the road try to mask that a little bit.
Yeah, hostas are seasonal. They die down in the winter.
They just don't stop.
Yeah.
Right, sure.
Yeah. Well, my preference would still be for a natural material, and it changes the look and feel, I think, of the property, and is something new, introducing a new material element into the historic district. And so I would love to see an alternative, but that's just my view.
Is there a way to fill cracks in bluestone so that you
I'd have to look into that. Can I ask, not having run this by before, but we have another option of running from the back a sidewalk to the side. So now... You
mean of the same kind of material, just so that you could...
Out of cement, out of the same material, but just moving it so that it wouldn't be so visible. So now the difference would be we would have some sort of more natural material here as our entryway. Get rid of the sidewalk here, have a pad here still, and then a sidewalk that kind of ran to the back.
How would you get
Well, it makes more work for us, and that's why we're trying
It
to
would
do
help
this.
visually.
Right, but
visually
if somebody's unloading a 3,000-pound
Well, what
pallet,
we would need to do is pull it around here, which it's doable. We need to pave this. Right now it's just gravel here, so we would need to pave this. It's a more involved process, and that's why we were trying to see if this was an option for us.
What is your driveway?
Our driveway needs repairing. Right? It's an asphalt driveway. It was older, but it was also damaged with the cement mixers and things that were on there.
So is that sort of a zoning thing, right? I mean, if you would be adding, in a way, another driveway, right, along the side?
There is currently a gravel drive along the side.
But you're thinking of paving it.
We were considering paving it for plowing.
We have jurisdiction with respect to driveways at buildings that are not purely residential.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't think we'd want to see a blacktop driveway there along that side.
Along that side.
Well, there might be alternatives.
Because currently we have the asphalt.
Yeah, right, which is...
So that's kind of grandfathered in, right?
Yeah.
So we can redo that.
But just be sensitive to the look of the historic district and, the shiny black asphalt. We had to do it at Lime Youth Services Bureau simply for handicap access, but that's not something we like to do in the district. So if you could have stabilized, pebbles that could be stabilized and firm enough so you could pull across it, that would be an option maybe.
But I'm also back to the idea of bluestone, and the objection is that they're cracked.
I can look into that more.
What would you think about the look of bluestone there?
Well, I think it would be better. You mean in the front?
Yes, in the front.
I don't know what you all think, but I think you've just suggested this walkway that you need could be put onto the back. I mean,
that would be great with flagstone or something, as you suggested.
And then and have the entrance that we all see be a natural stone that's similar to what you have at your house. I think that would be a compromise on the use of the building and the look of, if that's something that you are open to considering.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only issue would be, well, we still want to talk about the material, but perhaps the color, but then the only issue would be just making sure the driveway is...
Because you're going to put a driveway there regardless, right? I mean, whether...
we use this as a drive now.
Right, so that's something you're going to do, whatever we say about the front. Yeah.
Okay. And so we need approval to put asphalt on the side?
The driveway needs to be approved.
Whatever the material is, yeah.
Okay.
If you would do some research on that and try to find something that is aesthetically pleasing and consistent, not with the commercial buildings, but consistent with residential buildings in the district, that would be great.
Okay.
I mean,
because
it's feasible,
Yeah, it's feasible. I mean, I think having a nice entrance of natural stone that is in keeping with the house would be a better entrance to the barn than the stamped concrete.
Or again, I mean, by natural entrance, are you thinking not something other than bluestone?
No, here, just the people.
Yeah, I understand. But
just here.
Or slate
or brick
or brick or slate or flagstone, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it would be nice if it was similar, in my view, I don't know what the rest of you think, but to what is existing at the house.
Yes, it'd be great.
Then it would begin to bring the two places to a feeling of living, together rather than having been added.
Sure.
So recently.
A brand new thing.
Yeah.
Sure. The only thing I would say is right now it's very hard for a truck to Because when we have deliveries, they're not huge trucks, but it's a truck still that would need to, if I cannot asphalt this, and I can just explore options, but it's very hard for a truck to pull back here currently.
But that's going to be true in any case. That's a separate issue from.
That's a separate. Yeah, it is a separate issue. Yeah. Well, it's the same issue only because if I am now running the sidewalk from here, it forces us to have deliveries brought back here.
Which might be of concern to the neighbors, you know.
It's not often. I mean, this is
yeah.
only like every 2 or 3 months that we get.
Oh, okay. It's not a common.
No, it's not constant.
How much space is between that and isn't there a chain fence?
There is a chain link fence, yes.
Is it like 6 feet or?
I usually drive my car through there, and there's still 2 feet worth of gardens, space where we will plant something.
Any additional screening along that fence, I know, would be appreciated.
Yes, getting to that. Working on it. Yeah.
Good neighbors, good sense of.
Yep.
Great.
Okay. So. Where are we? I should try to explore. So it's not preferable that we do a stamped concrete.
Floor concrete,
here. It would be
not
preferred if we can come from here.
Correct.
And a more natural material for here.
Yes, and it would look nice, for you too.
Oh, I agree with look. I agree with look nice. I do agree with you with that. It's only that it was just practically.
Yes.
Why we were trying to do this.
Well, I think we should again table this and continue the hearing depending on your investigation.
Okay.
That would be great. While you're here, Martha reported very briefly about progress on that little sign attachment. Where does that stand?
We just ordered a small sign that will hang from the bottom that will contain, it's by appointment with our phone number and a website address, or an email address.
Okay.
So that will take care of that concern. We did plan, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we did plan.
We noticed.
Yeah, I want to. That's great. Yeah, it's good.
Hopefully they take, someone was getting rid of them, and so they're a decent size.
Keep watering them.
Yeah, keep after watering them. They've taken okay so far. So.
We're getting a lot of rain this week.
Yes.
Okay.
And is the URL, is the website okay? I wasn't clear on it.
It's just an email address.
It's an email address, not a website.
I see.
And it's the same material as the little sign.
And it's just the lettering is it's about 1 inch, so it's not a big addition to it.
Okay. So is there a motion to table this?
Yes, I will make
and send things down?
You're making the motion, Deb?
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Okay.
You know what we're doing is we're filling up next month's account.
We're never going to get it.
We have to, John.
I know. There are questions, so.
We're going to make twice a month.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is
Lime Academy.
Yes. We're only half an hour behind.
Okay.
Do our best.
Are you Maura? Yes.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Excuse me.
I'm Maura. I'm the executive director. This is Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Nishan, he is the operational manager.
Okay.
You had a great Easter fest at my grandchildren.
Extravagant.
Nice to be there.
Thank you.
And a great lecture series, it looks like.
Yeah, we have Friday night lectures.
Some really interesting
doing really
speakers.
well.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
All right.
So we've got our
So we have a picture. I have another that I brought. So this is we're going back to our original signage. Take all there we go. So this is the original sign that was in storage, was in the sculpture studio. And so everybody really prefers this sign here. And so in 1976. So it'll be that. So we went back to our original signage. So you can see the only thing I did is I refined it. So I added our current fonts and our logo, but I copied the exact signage. So the shape, this is actually, we would have used this sign except for it's
made out of particle board instead of actual wood, so we're going to have it, these ones constructed from solid wood.
And carved.
Wood, not exact, wood.
Right. Good. So it's carved, gold gilding, the bottom here, the founded in 1976, will be appliqued, so it will be an application as opposed to a carving, as well as instead of lot A and lot B, the board really prefers north and south instead of lot A and lot B, so we'll be going with north and south instead of, and then on the back side of the sign, the hope is on the opposite side of the sign, we would like some clarity. So for Friday night lectures and things like that, people are often lost on campus and they don't know where to go. And so we would like to, this is a sample from Princeton University where there's some call outs to the different studios. So if people were coming for the private studios or the Stobart studio, they would know which entrance to take.
So where does that go? I'm sorry.
So it would go on the reverse
of the sign that they're proposing.
Okay, and so which way is the real thing facing? Is it towards 95 or towards
Lime Street? The signage would come out towards Lime Street, and then on the opposite side right here, there would be a little sign with the...
so it's a separate...
Oh, so it's like a... No. So these are duplicated on both sides.
So would you extend this post out?
That's correct. Yes, the crossbars would come out a little bit.
And that will be facing the college.
That's correct.
And the front part.
And these signs would be much smaller. So these signs, I think these little signs are only, I think they're less than 2 feet.
Right.
So I'm a little confused. Is this a separate sign?
That is a sign that is current.
Oh, that's a current sign. Okay.
That is the current sign.
So that's coming out.
Those are coming out.
All right.
Those are awful.
That will be good. Yes.
And then, do you know the size of this?
So we had questions about your, and I've been driving up and down the street. Is it that you want the bottom of the sign to be no taller than 7 feet? Or do you want the entire sign? There's regulations, right? Mm-hmm. We couldn't figure out what that regulation is. Is it 7 feet to the top of the sign, or is it 7 feet to the bottom of the sign?
Those zoning regulations?
Those are zoning regulations.
Those are zoning, not us.
Okay.
We're just kind of...
I don't have the copy of the...
So we haven't determined yet.
It's 7 feet.
We don't pass on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a two-step process.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we'd like to go to the standard iron, the old-fashioned iron post. And then the crossbar on the top, so in front of both, just like the library, but a little bit more refined than the library, where you have lights coming on either both sides, so you have a crossbar.
I mean, this is, if you think of the Audubon, the bottom of the sign is much
lower to the ground. That's correct.
And the top is...
I think that the tallest one that I've seen, the tallest sign that I've seen on Lime Street is actually the old Lime Inn. Mm-hmm. So their largest sign, I think, is taller. So we didn't really understand what that will tell us. Our sign is, we gave you measurements, I think, right? Or did we not? Did we give measurements? Oh, yes. Yeah, 48 by 34.
That's for the song. But
that's correct.
Have you picked your preferred height for?
I think my preferred height would be 10 feet, a 10-foot post.
Okay.
so that it didn't hang so low to the ground.
So it's not nearly as big a sign as, for example, the old Lyman.
That's correct.
Right.
It's a much smaller sign.
Yeah, well, it's basically 4 feet.
Right.
Does that measurement include this little thing at the bottom?
And you're asking for two.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
I believe the estimate they put together, the 4 foot was the main sign with that little extension on it.
So it does not include the little extension.
Roughly 4.5.
4.5 feet.
Which, proportion-wise, if this is 10 feet, that's down a foot. You got about equal space between there and the ground. Okay.
So I'm not still clear on, let's call it the ancillary sign, or I'm still not exactly clear where it would be and how it would look. How would you say?
If you imagine that this is our signpost to the
Carolyn, he's answering.
If you imagine this is our signpost with our main sign hanging down, that would be sort of attached to the post on the back side.
Oh, so it's going to be on the same post with...
That's correct.
Exactly.
With the same kind of mounting hardware that's here.
Yeah.
It's a very clean.
And smaller.
And much smaller, yes. It's just really an identifier so that people can understand which side they should actually go in.
We have a very hard time getting anybody who visits our campus to find where they should be going.
Your signage. So it will come off this post.
That's correct, going back towards the original sign.
So kind of what the
Audubon's talking about, yeah. And do you have a size for this? You say it's smaller.
It would not be any larger than 2 feet, and I'd like to keep it smaller than 2 feet. Tall and only probably 18 inches wide.
Okay.
And there'll be 2 of them?
There will be 1 on each post.
Okay.
So there'll be a post at each entrance.
Got it.
And they'll be in the identical spot where the current signage is.
Will the lettering be gilded, matching the lettering on the larger sign?
We can do it gilded. We could absolutely do it gilded.
I'm not sure you should.
I'm not sure you should either because
I'm not recommending.
I had originally kind of thought maybe we would do just simple white lettering on that.
Yeah.
Help keep the size down because then we could get clarity very quickly with smaller lettering.
Not only that, but you're sending 2 different messages.
Yes.
I mean, one is the main message and the other one is just a little directional.
Yeah.
That's correct.
The material, the directional?
It would be wood as well.
Okay.
So both would be solid wood.
Right, great.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm just interested out of interest. What font are you using?
This is Garamond, but there's a specific name to it.
Or something maybe.
It's Garamond, but I think it's I can get you the
That's
name.
okay. Never mind. No,
I'll
that's
get
not
it.
relevant to the discussion.
Yeah.
I was just interested.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm happy you're returning to the original look of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And with having the little directional signage, it helps us because we really haven't been able to find beautiful sandwich boards. And so we always have to put sandwich boards out, and they're white and plastic, and so we will be very happy to not have that. So we're really trying to make it a little easier.
Yeah.
Can I just ask on the lighting? So this will be the one that will be on the actual sign itself, and then what is this?
So that's the post idea. So that is identical. So this really came. We've been searching all over and kind of finding signs that we felt would be great. This was from Boston. I tried to match that, so we want very simplistic. And we're trying to stick with old-fashioned, so something, and I know that I have to have it angled.
Right.
Yeah.
And this would not have lighting illuminating the signs?
No. This is the illumination. Right, we're not going to backlight any of the, right.
And this is timer and LED and all that kind of
That's
thing?
correct.
So where would the light?
The light is over, so much like Phoebe Griffin Noyes. Theirs has a crossbar that goes up on top. So if you look at this little post here, so this comes down on either side, the front and back. So as you're driving this way off Lime Street, there would be a light illuminating our main sign, and then a light illuminating from the other side.
And would that be on?
In the evening, so it'd be on the timer.
On the timer.
That's correct. It'd be a timer like our street lights.
Okay.
Yeah, that's required by zoning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments?
I think it's
I
great.
appreciate the photos and the thought you've
Yeah.
put into this.
Thank you.
Yeah, the site visits you've made to different places and decide, that's great.
And the usage of wood.
And
And it's wood.
Yeah. We're really, we'd really like to upgrade. We're trying to do some landscaping plans and everything for the next year.
Good.
Yeah.
What is the time frame for the sign?
As soon as possible. If I get approval, I have a sign person waiting. The hesitation or the electrician has really been the stand-up is I need to get him moving now and getting the light posts up because the sign manufacturer is ready to go. So the only thing we're waiting for is I'll have to find my own post. He said he was having some problems finding a post. So I'll get on it as soon as I can if we're approved.
Oh, and color, did we say it was all the
black?
Okay, everything is black. The post will be black as well?
So yes, and so it'll be a matte black. It'll be to match our ironwork. Now our ironwork needs some work as well, but it'll be kind of a matte black. It won't be a bright, shiny black.
It's going to look nice because the iron fence they have and also the light posts, the lamp posts,
That's correct.
are all that. So it will feel as if it belongs together.
Yeah. An orange sign.
Yeah. Right, and we have temporary banner signs now with the white, which were that was my fault because we had ordered beautiful iron ones and then my measurements were off. They arrived and then I scrambled to get the temporary ones. So we will change out those kind of white ones that I think are fairly awful to an iron.
Yeah.
I just need to get those reordered.
Okay.
Good.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Fantastic.
Subject to in line with the materials and information presented, and the standard is that these approvals are good for 1 year. It sounds like you're on track to.
We'll try to get it done in the next 2 months for sure.
Yeah.
Terrific.
All right.
Good.
Great.
Any further discussion?
She mentioned the chimney repair. We don't know where that is.
Let's
sorry.
say that. That's the next agenda item. And then no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I think Russ is juggling, but that motion carries, so you're good to go.
Fantastic. We'll get to work.
And while you're seated here, there is the next item is
Do you want to talk about
chimney repair.
or not today?
I'm fine with speaking about it. We did not bring samples. We didn't know that was on the agenda. But we basically, we knew that the sill house roof was in need of serious repair.
All the information.
Yeah, you did the second page. Remember, we exchanged that email about that. You completed a like for like, but the second page wasn't completed.
But there was no second page.
Yeah, the link that Dan Beret sent me didn't include a second page, so we just need access to the second
Hold on.
page.
I think I have the second page uncompleted.
Sorry, we will check on that.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
The link he sent was a single page, so that's why.
So really for this project, the roof was in need of repair. I didn't know if we would make it through this last winter. And so I had Daniel call some roofers. They came out and they said, really, your roof will make it. Your chimneys will not. They are in dire need. And as a matter of fact, we would recommend that nobody walk by the sill house because they could start blowing down. And so we immediately had a mason come out and remove the parts that were coming off and were dangerous to the school. And so the mason has brought us our plan is to not change anything. It is to get it replaced with the exact mortar color and the exact bricks. It's just that we were afraid that there was going to be, one of our events, or if a student walked by, that they would be hit with a fallen chimney.
Well, the keywords I picked out from the description are same bricks and same mortar color, because some people would say, oh, we're replacing bricks with bricks, but there are bricks and then there are bricks.
Mason has a place to source vintage bricks, and he's provided us with multiple mortar samples, and we found one that matches almost identically. Okay. So very much, once this project is done, exactly like the chimney.
Martha, we've got so many.
Are you there, Martha?
Yes, I'm here.
Same design.
Do you have
do their own thing.
the Lime Academy's email contact? Could you make sure they get the full like-for-like form? Apparently the one Dan sent them only had a first page.
Okay. Yes, I can either email it to them or just mail it to them.
An email would be fantastic, but I received both. So if Mora, M-O-R-A, @limeacademy.edu is my email.
Okay.
And that's M-O-R-A.
But that's, that's just a matter of us having the completed form for the records, but that doesn't require any approval or action from us.
Yeah, we don't want to make any changes. It was purely a safety issue.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet everyone in person.
We look forward to seeing the finished product.
Okay, well, good.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And the next is...
one second.
I'm wondering if there's somebody here for 38 Lime Street.
I was supposed to be here at 9 o'clock and I forgot.
Okay, well, wait a second. And you're here for?
68.
64 we have first, anyway. We can change the order and fit you in right after these folks. So, welcome to Charles and Andrina, right?
Yep.
And we don't have a form for you.
I have photos, but what I downloaded this morning was just photos. Did you complete the certificate?
We gave everything to Martha. We gave it to whoever was upstairs, and she was going to give it to Martha. And I've been in communication with Martha.
Did you?
The email.
Martha, did you get that from Kim?
I think she was having trouble scanning it. It may still be in the mailbox.
Do you want me to go get it?
The C of A. Yep.
You all talk when that's up.
But I did get the I got the other parts. The details about the windows.
So, is this the one that you sent? This truss guard, right?
Right. That's yeah.
I got it the wrong thing. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. But so originally you gave us a like-for-like form, but this has a different material. Is that correct?
Well, the material's different. They're 6/6 still.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're vinyl clad, which...
If the material is different, we need the certificate of...
Yeah, see, what you see here is what we have...
That's my copy of the certificate of appropriate that I submitted to her.
Oh, okay, great.
Got it. Here it is.
Yeah, her copy, too.
What?
Replacement windows with R5 triple pane Energy Star double hung vinyl windows, 6/6. And so what's in there now is 6 over 6.
Correct.
How many windows are you?
22.
Okay.
Why are you not replacing the front windows?
What's that?
Why are you not replacing the?
That's going to be a big job.
That's an
That's next, but.
That's on your agenda, but not.
Oh, definitely. But for right now, we're doing the ones like, we're posing.
And do the current ones have storms on them?
They do. This is a picture of them right here.
Okay. So the storms would just come off completely with
Correct.
Insulated.
Yeah. What you see other than the storm right here will be staying. This will stay the same from here to here.
And the inside.
Yeah, just like you said, just this storm right here. That'll be gone completely.
Yeah.
And the trim is wood right now? Is there?
Well,
All vinyl clad.
it's vinyl right now. What you're looking at from here to here is vinyl.
Okay.
Yes. And the J channel, that's vinyl. Yeah, this was all done in 1988 originally.
Do you have any information on the width of the mullions?
You said what, half inch?
He said 3/8 to half.
I know many are 3/8 in the district. If you're
well, he said 3/8 first, and then he goes, I know it's no more than half, and that's how he put it to me. He says, so.
Deb, do you know this?
No, I just
window?
wondered if there was any wood on it right now.
On the face, no.
So everything was vinyl as of the 80s, right?
1988, correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is the whole building, is that right? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like we stated, at not too far in the future, but we're going to tackle the front, which is a lot of glass, and they're quite large.
Which is?
You have a picture.
Where?
Nightingale.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an old
Yeah.
picture, but it goes to the.
What else?
Yeah, that was before.
Oh, okay.
See, that was before the.
Cafe downstairs, and then there's 2 apartments.
Oh, yeah, because those windows are beautiful.
And we're more or less on the
Yeah.
apartments.
Now, what this lady's talking about is at some in the near future, we're going to have these replaced. That's going to be a huge job.
Having trouble with. We tried to get
And those
basement screens for them.
They are all wood.
Original, not original, but.
They're original, yeah.
That we're going to try and.
Right about 1900.
I think all
and then
right,
eventually.
between 1995 and 1900.
We want to tackle the.
Barbara Lineburner, you remember her? She was on the historical committee for a long time.
I don't know.
And that's where she placed it.
The outside of it.
Oh, go ahead.
Some vinyl. Yeah. That was done back in.
This isn't a recent picture.
Yeah, but.
Well, that's not, but they're the same.
No, and because the building.
Nothing's changed.
Okay.
You know, and.
Yeah.
Well, you can see
I know.
Which we
the
ended
shape.
up doing.
No, a few of those in the storefront, they're original glass. They have the bubbles in the glass, and yeah.
You mean on the lower front?
The larger
Yeah, the larger window?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Or
was,
after.
They're so old now that, like I said, they're original, and they're not in great shape.
it'd be wonderful to keep.
Yeah, that was.
Right, keep those.
Those is authentic.
Well, I like as much as possible, yeah. In today's, I don't know what they, how much they can really do to.
Well, there is this wood-like material that's durable that's used, but I don't know for windows that size.
That's the thing.
I mean, it's custom no matter what you look at here.
Right. Yes.
Whatever your material is.
Yeah. They're going to be a custom one.
Going to be.
So the 22, just, I think I know the answer, but just to make sure that the 22 windows are all the windows this size? Front,
Yes.
side.
Yes.
All of the smaller windows
Correct.
was being replaced.
They're all one size.
And what's happening
Yes.
with the storms?
The storms will go, and
The storms will go.
they'll go, right.
Okay.
Because these
Triple pane.
windows are fully insulated.
Right.
Any further questions or comments?
They're all the same size. You're replacing vinyl with vinyl.
Correct.
And you said the trim, there is no wood on it for the...
On any of those windows, no.
Not exterior, no.
I mean, my only comment is if there's a choice between 3/8 and a half,
Well,
the 3/8 is preferable.
yeah, well, like he told me, he says, I'm pretty certain it's 3/8, but he said, at the most it will be his half. I says, well, the 3/8 is where he left it, so.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking at.
And if there's I don't know that much about it, to be perfectly honest, but if there's a way of a duller finish, as opposed to shiny on the vinyl, I mean, I don't know if they give you those sorts of options.
I can find that out.
Don't you think?
Right. And how about the quality of the glass?
Well, it's a triple pane, and it's argon filled, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
So it's...
Just think about those replacement vinyl ones that look really...
Yeah, because if these become too shiny, then whatever you do at the bottom is going to look...
Right.
You could spend a fortune doing it, but they'd look...
It wouldn't match.
It wouldn't match. So.
Right. Well, hopefully I'm going to... actually, I'm going to call them today and see if they make a matte, finish.
Yeah.
But... And the big thing now, of course, is that with everything, as you well know, so backlogged, we're looking at 3 months, and then even that could get,
I know,
blown out of the water too. But he said we're looking at 3 months, minimum.
Yeah, no, everyone's facing this.
So,
Is that a condition that affects approval? In your view?
What, the finish?
The finish.
We would strongly prefer matte.
Right. I would say the finish. And
if it's possible,
but I don't have matte.
Yeah.
And with
what if they do not have matte?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, I don't know that this is what's been here since 1988. So.
Yeah, and like I said, the storefront, the big windows, they're original to the building.
Yeah.
And just because the matte is so important in the historic district, is it possible that there would be another supplier that would provide you with, the similar window but with a matte finish if this supplier doesn't?
I don't honestly know. I'm going to call him today and make sure,
We just don't want something swapped out in the light of supply chain issues that, this one's not available, but we have something that's similar in a distributor's eyes.
Right. I mean, this is such a wonderful building in the historic district, and it's a commercial building, too, which sets it, gives it its own sort of interest within this district. So we're just hoping that it can maintain.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to try to do.
So do we want them to get back to us about the possibility? Or do we want to say we approve with the
strong suggestion, the strong hope that will...
Strong recommendation.
A strong recommendation that a matte finish would be available.
In other words, I guess what we're saying is if they have a finish, but you have to wait another month.
Oh, yeah.
Wait another month.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, there's no problem there. I mean...
Yeah, you've waited already.
Yeah, well, the big thing is, all these storms right here, they're, like I said, I think, when did we put them on? They were taken off to put the vinyl on, so we already had them. I'd say probably about 1982. So needless to say, these screens and stuff, everything just don't function anymore.
In any case, it's going to be an improvement, I think, when the storm windows and all of that comes off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Basically, you're not going to see a huge difference here, because all this trim around here is all going to stay.
Okay.
So.
So I would suggest we move to approve with a strong suggestion, strong recommendation.
Well, could we phrase it that it be with matte finish if the manufacturer provides that finish?
Okay.
And again, if you have a choice between, if you call the guy and he says, well, you got your option, 3/8 or a half, that we do the 3/8.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty sure, but,
It's double.
Yeah.
I mean, my guess is they don't offer you two choices.
Yeah, yeah.
My guess is if he says it's no more than a half, it's probably a half. And then because he didn't confirm the 3/8.
Well, he actually said that he thought it was the 3/8, but he says, I definitely it's not more than a half. That's how he put it. He says, I believe it's 3/8. But, that's how he put it to me,
And this will be the company that you'll be using?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, coming in today as soon as we could, so we could get them ordered, because even at 12 weeks, I mean, I can easily see that going beyond.
Sure.
I expect it, So.
Okay, so
if this guy says absolutely no matte finish, only shiny, then if you could take a look and see if there's another supplier that could provide you with a matte finish in the same approximate time frame so you're not inconvenienced, that would also be great. We leave that to you.
Yeah.
I appreciate your making that effort.
Yeah, we really would, because when you go, and I can just say from experience, when you go to redo or the lower level, having the top be too shiny with the wood at the bottom would probably bother you too.
Yeah, the storefronts, that's going to be a problem. I can see that coming right now, because it's first of all, it's custom. And, we may have to go, well, I don't know, the shop, 2 buildings before ours, I'm not sure.
The Elm building?
You mean the Pat Spratt?
Yeah, we took actually a couple pictures of that the other day, and that has considerably, I think the panes are like so. And obviously, worst case scenario, I'm sure that's a lot easier option, because these big paints like this are going to be.
Yeah, they're talking about stability. He was talking about stability with those. Right.
So.
You can make them last.
Especially with the insulated glass and everything.
Yeah, that'll be there again a big improvement, because these are just single pane glass, these big panes, and the cold just so.
Okay, so just read the motion as it.
A motion to approve with recommendation of matte finish and 3/8 mullions.
I'll make that motion.
You'll make the motion.
Deanie, are you seconding?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Thank you. Do what you can.
And your family was
They owned it for years. They didn't. They rented it.
Okay.
My great-grandfather was the general store, Clark's General Store.
Really?
Postmaster, yeah.
Wow, we have a picture of the old general store with the because they also used to be the post office, and we have a picture of the horse and carriage because his son was postmaster.
My Uncle Clarence.
Wow, that's incredible.
Is that before they moved to my place? The post office?
Before they moved to your place.
Yeah.
So he never worked at the post office at 20?
No, he died. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes way back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Sheffield, you remember him, of course, he knew tons and tons of information, about Lime Street. And one day he was telling me how him and, I don't know who his friend was, but they used to run in the general store and grab a handful of peanuts and run out the door. Yeah. So, he had a lot of stories, Mr. Sheffield, he was quite the chatterbox when you got him going,
Right.
Yeah, he was. So.
in the beginning when we bought the building, because we weren't sure of the age and everything, and we found out, oh no, that doesn't have any historic background or anything, I'm like.
How could it not?
I know, we had pictures.
Yeah.
Well, also Alice Rogers, you remember her?
Very well.
She was in there also, and we have pictures of her standing out front
Oh, that's nice.
of the building, you know, so.
Remember that old circular staircase that she had inside?
I don't remember that.
No, that wasn't there when we got there.
Okay.
We got there in '80, so we've been there, 42 years. Wow. But, you know, like you said, a lot of stories, you know, the general store, you know, like I said, I have a picture of the horse and buggy. You know, he had a blanket, because it must have been cold weather, and he had a horse blanket on it, and then the buggy, and the back room was their mail room, you know. So that was, you know, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, really is.
Carolyn wrote a book called The Charm of the Place. That has
Old Lyme Historical Society. You can still get it if you're interested.
Lime Street in
Wonderful
what, 1920s?
Old Lyme in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of neat pictures in that.
Yeah,
Well, it's
oh, go ahead.
No, you know, you talk about history of Old Lyme. I have pictures, because my grandfather, he owned Carl's Garage, which was at the corner of Knutson Road, and he built all the houses on Knutson Road. And then across the street was my great aunt, who married Elmer Blackwell, which also had I have pictures of all that, you know, things back.
I've seen a lot of Blackwell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that at the Historical Society, right?
There's a street, isn't there a street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember Barbara Lineburner?
No.
You don't remember Barbara? Wow. Well, she was on the historical committee for a long time.
I was away for a while.
Okay. Well, she lived upstairs too for several years. Actually, that's where she passed away. You know, but she was she was on the society for a long time. So she's the one that looked up she says, I think she told me between 1895 and 1900 it was built. So it's been a lot of different things have passed through there over the years. So.
And I think it was built by a champion. Is that right?
You know, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
But I'm not positive of that. Yeah. A lot of different things have gone on there.
Fun to look, to remember, and to document all this.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have all those photographs. I'd love to see them sometime.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's unfortunate that I never got to Mr. Sheffield, you know, more than the little bit that I did get from him, you know, because he had tons of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know,
Such a shame.
Yeah, he was born in that house next door where the other people that putting the windows in. He was born in that house. Yeah. So, like I said, he knew a lot of history.
Held a lot of town offices.
Yeah, it was a shame. Like I said, I didn't get to him, you know, more than what I did. You know, it was just here and there. But all right.
Great. Well, it's really good to meet you.
Same here.
Yes,
Same here.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
We don't usually have an agenda. 17 things.
I know. Okay.
This one needs to go.
Yeah, and we got these too.
Thanks.
Maybe I'll just keep the whole thing. I have to file this.
You're done, right?
No.
Oh, one more.
And then I need to fill you in on one other thing.
Oh, okay. I need to deal with this, but I might do it tomorrow. Okay.
So tell us your name.
Dave Vitale.
Okay.
All right. And you're at 38 Lime Street?
Right.
And it's the house down here that's been worked on for a while. And that's,
Right.
you're coming for renewal, right?
So basically you want to just
which house?
Keep going with the work.
The house that everyone refers to.
Yes, it was just my notice was that
old house, the small little house.
I had to
right, maybe 3 down, right next to the Fairfield Sons. At the stop. Where they have it.
You were just renewing the CFA.
We're still on.
Yes,
okay.
just
right.
Are you the owner?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm with you now.
Okay. So I'm the next on from Lynn.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't get this until Friday afternoon, so it kind of came on fast. But when I spoke with Martha, she said that just to come, that there was no fee, and it was just
a renewal. They're just renewing the
right.
Because there have been some fits and starts with COVID, and I think there's been some family. Just anyway, you've been working on it diligently as you can. Yeah.
So we do. Am I correct? Need a new application form.
Do we, Martha?
No, we just renew the old one. I just will make a copy, give it to you, and we'll just update the date on it.
Okay.
Have there been any changes? I know these big projects, you get into them, but any changes to the outside that would be different from what you started?
No, not really. No, but like the guy that was here before, I'm getting killed on lead delays. Yeah. I tried to order the front door, and the guy said, aside from being a raised price, it was a half a year out, and I was like, it's crazy. So now I'm trying another avenue, but the windows were 6 months, and they were one short, and then they just filled the order. I got that last one.
The windows look good.
So
yeah.
And I hear all the builders are having this problem.
Oh yeah.
So we just have to kind of roll with it. Right.
Anyway, well, it's really just, unless there were a change in what you were planning to do, it's really just a formality. But I appreciate your.
So do we need a motion?
We do need a
motion.
And do we know what the front door is going to be and so on? Has that all been approved?
Yeah, that
was all approved. Like maybe quite a long time ago. How many years? 2 years ago?
Oh yeah, I hate to even say. I know.
3.
I think it's 3.
I do too. I think it might be 3.
I'm not listening, but I originally thought it would be a good home for my mother to live in,
Right.
And it wouldn't because of the stairs, but she comes and visits all the time, and she says, well, yeah, I could live here if I'm still alive.
When you still have
it's done. I said, oh, that's my own mother. So.
What's your time frame now?
I'm hoping to have the exterior done by the end of the summer, and then just chip away at the inside, through the winter. Yeah.
So this has become your hobby.
Yeah,
your permanent hobby.
It really has. Yeah. I actually love working down here. People walk by, and they're very polite.
Curious. Curious.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so.
I will make the motion to.
Okay.
Renew.
I second.
CA of A, and I mean the way these things go technically is we do it on a year basis. So you had a year grace period anyway, but.
All right. So a year. So it would be a year from this.
That's the way this is our process.
A year from now.
Yep. Is Russ still on the line?
No, he had to drop off.
Okay.
So we approve this.
And who's seconding?
Aye.
Carolyn? All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Good luck.
Great.
Sorry you had to wait, but.
I apologize because I said I'd be here at 9:00, and I completely forgot, and then I came running down, so that's why I'm not dressed too good. But thank you. So if you're walking by, feel free to stop in if you want.
Okay.
I'll be glad to show you.
Say hello. Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Okay, I need to give just a brief update. The details can save. We did finally get an opinion from the attorney about.
Is our meeting still in?
Yes. This is for the minutes.
Okay.
And on the reconciliation of the map with the language of the historic district, and the initial opinion he has corrected just on Saturday because he mistook the location of the triangular town green. He thought it was the Peck Tavern property. Anyway, the bottom line is that with two exceptions, he finds that the map and the written description can be reconciled. The two exceptions are one concerns the town green. The map shows the border of the historic district going across the northerly edge of that town green, the wider part. The written description talks about the northerly boundary of the historic district going across the southerly end of the town green. And he thinks, given that clear contravention, you have to go with the written description. So the town green is not in the historic district.
Can we change that?
Not easily. I'll tell you why in a second. But it doesn't affect, he's confirmed that the two Sill Lane and the two lots on the Boston Post Road are in the historic district.
Okay, so that house, the one we were discussing that's next to you, is.
Sunnyside is in the...
Is that number 1 Sill?
2.
2.
1 is Peck Tavern, I think.
Yeah.
So and Peck Tavern is not, though, correct?
Correct.
Right.
My guess is that the reference to the southerly bound was just an error. That because originally there was discussion about including the well, I don't know. I don't know why it happened. This is short answer. But anyway, that's this guy's expert opinion.
So in just one very quick sentence, to change it would require what?
It would require going through a whole new hearing and approval process, and there's an additional complication. Anytime you change things now or create a new historic district now, the statute has been amended since 1970, and it now requires a meets and bounds description. In other words, you'd have to survey the whole historic district.
Right. That would be a big job.
I don't know whether it could be included by just surveying that triangle and adding it in. I can ask. I think the question is, or we can talk to Tim about it.
Yes.
The question is, why would it? I mean, in practical terms, they'd be putting up any structures.
Well, we don't know. I mean, somebody could decide they wanted a town sculpture,
a bandstand, or
town gazebo, or
some kind of a sculpture that
didn't fit.
Public work of art.
They just put up 3 trees, which I think will probably be fine, but I do think it's good to have that be in our jurisdiction if it's at all possible.
I mean, we might find who knows? I mean, we might even find a grant to, I don't know, Martha, you know more about what's available for grants, but for the legal costs involved.
And the other thing is we have the argument that it appears to have been an error that it was set at the southern end of the park, and we're doing this to correct what appears to be an error because of the discrepancy.
To bring the written description in line with.
Yes.
See, I honestly don't know. We didn't pursue the question. Is if you are changing that part of the historic district, is it deemed changing the whole historic district? In which case we'd have to get a survey for everything, or if you could just
amendment to the historic district.
Yeah, technically, maybe create a new historic district that just includes that triangle.
Well,
I don't know.
I think that would be to amend a historic district, but we'd have to look into it. But
okay, so
to be considered.
We'll note that as a question.
Good.
Here's the second change. Let's show you this little diagram. The map is inconsistent with respect to wraparound lines. So the historic district goes back, this is Lime Street, goes back 300 feet.
Yep.
Except if a lot has a back line that is nearer to the street than 300 feet, you only go back to that back line.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens to the lot that's next to it that does go back
Mm-hmm.
and also includes the land behind it?
Mm-hmm.
And the map was really confusing in terms of consistency because some of these wraparound lots showed this long map going back, that is the cutoff. But there are other places on the map that show it completely wrapping around. So that inconsistency, and I give Michael Carey really credit on this, he really parsed the language, and he thinks, and I think it makes sense, that the best reading is that all the lots wrap around.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's included a bunch of details about when we publish our map to add notations that as to why it's changed from the original 1970 map. The key map is, well, the only map that's official is the 1970 map. The historic district over the years did revisions, and some of them were really odd. Some of them showed wraparound lots looking like this.
Mm-hmm.
They draw a diagonal
Mm-hmm.
up because they didn't know what was going on. And,
sure.
And so, anyway, we've got a ruling on that, and that's good, I think.
Okay. How do we include this in the minutes? Do we actually just submit the ruling?
No, it's much too confused. It's like 8 pages.
Right.
So I think we highlight the point.
Maybe you could write that specific.
I will write it up.
You could write item number 14.
There's another point that, and I'll just say key points in the opinion.
Yeah.
And also it changed. So if you read the first longer opinion, parts of it are really confusing because he had in mind the wrong placement for the northerly bound, and that affected a number of other things. So just one other point to note. Two other points to note. One is, in some places, lots have been consolidated. The first example is the church. There is the church itself that borders on Ferry, on Lime Street, but there's another lot up Ferry Road,
the shepherd's house,
that is now church owned. But on the original 1970 lot, that lot that borders only on Ferry Road is not included in the historic district. Well, in between, I gather, the church has from time to time made repairs or changes to the little houses on that lot and has submitted CFAs, and the commission has ruled on them. So the question was, does past practice change anything? Can the district expand in effect if lots are consolidated? And the answer is no. You're stuck with what it looked like in 1970. This affects other things like the change of the road. Did that affect the distance of the district because the shape of Lime Street to McCurdy Road has changed? So we are stuck with the boundaries as of 1970.
When did the church acquire that house?
I don't know. It may have owned it. It may have owned it in 1970, for all I know.
And then it's not relevant if the church owned that property prior to 1970.
It doesn't matter. If it was legally a separate lot, which is how it's shown.
That's what Carrie.
It's like if we bought the neighbor's house and started treating it as one property. It's not. It's still two separate property descriptions. and 2 separate chains of title. So I said, well, what happens if they come in again? Their history is to submit C of A's, and his recommendation is that we should decline to rule. So
I don't like any of these things. Doesn't seem as if it's the way it should be, but if I know it's, I understand
the wraparound lots.
I understand that. I understand where we are. Okay. Well, thanks for
the other
clarifying.
thing is, we have, I don't know if you remember, the typist left a line
I have
out.
to leave at 12, by the way. It's 4 minutes.
Okay, so last point. And this one does require a ruling. I don't know if we can do it in. Okay. There was a whole line left out in the ordinance. It was in the study report. The typist just skipped the line. So the town approved this ordinance with a line missing, which makes it nonsensical at the northerly end. It connects the northerly end to the southerly end rather than the northerly end to the westerly end, and it makes sense if you put that line in. Basically, his opinion on that is you can do nothing unless you go through a whole process, which at this stage would probably mean surveying the whole district. But bottom line, he says it doesn't matter because the map is clear enough so everybody knows what's going on. But you can't easily correct that language. Here's the action item. There is one little word, or, that was inserted after the town approved the ordinance. And the insertion of that little word, or, makes the description of lots that don't go back 300 feet really confusing. And there is a way to fix that. So I would recommend that we attempt to fix that, but I would say pending discussion with the first selectman.
Good. Okay. That sounds right.
So I will, or somebody could make a motion to that effect.
I move.
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
Right, because there's lots of cost involved, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. And probably.
So what exactly are we approving? Is there a
Okay. I'll write in the language if you
okay,
trust
you
me.
write.
It's to remove the word "or" in section 1B, and but I would say it's subject to agreement with the first selectman. He probably is going to say, "What's this all going to cost us?"
That's right.
But it would clean up one of the major ambiguities in the.
Yeah. Good job. Thanks for doing all that. That's exasperating work.
Okay, so we voting on that? All
yes.
In favor? Aye.
Deb has motion. You are seconding.
I did.
I suggest that we leave new business again.
Yep, let's leave it. I think
just because of, I know you have to go, we all have to go.
Fine.
Just in light of what we're hearing about supply chain issues still being an issue from a lot of people, and seems to be talking about a lot of distributors that they're going to for windows and whatever else, wood and composite. I'm wondering if we make a stipulation regarding no substitutions, because and I don't know if it's something that we can or not, because I'm sort of afraid that if somebody said, oh, well, we can't get this item for 8 months, but this item
well, you mentioned that
is probably readily more available, and will they just substitute it?
I think it's a great idea, Deb. I think we should definitely do it.
Because I can see that,
if they want to substitute, they have to come back.
Right. It's a little shortcut. Well, why don't we just take this window or this door because it's readily available, and everybody wants to get moving on this stuff. And
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. And is that something we add to the form? Because I know that we're going to.
Yes. Why not?
To the form. We're going to add a couple of lines to the form, and that might be a good one.
Okay.
And it's maybe important going forward that John or whoever's running the meeting just state that as part of it. Just as you say that there's a 1-year duration, so you also say there are no substitutions without a reapplication.
1 year should be, Martha recommends, in all of the language.
That's great.
Yep, I got that.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. I move we adjourn.
Okay. There's one other issue.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You also saw Ned's email, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, I've collected money we collected $400 from people, folks were generous. And I couldn't go to the bank today, so I got a check here, which I think I can reverse. The question is, what do we do with respect to Ned? Do we just individually get in touch? Do we...
He may not want that check.
I know. Or we could, Deanie's suggestion was to send him the check and suggest that he donate it to a church.
Or no, we do. Well, my suggestion was possibly to discover from someone what interests him in terms of, charitable work. And make it in his name.
Oh, I see.
Make a donation in the name of Ned Pfeiffer. So that was one idea.
He might take it.
His second email, pretty blunt, is that he has done this in his own way. And he does, I don't think everyone saw the second email. I
think it went to everybody.
Right. Oh, did it go to everybody?
He replied to me, but then he copied everybody.
Maybe he genuinely doesn't.
But he didn't want to come, and he didn't want to be commended. He didn't want to sit here and listen to himself being praised.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he wouldn't accept a token of gratitude and appreciation.
I would send it and then say, if you do not feel comfortable or whatever, we can always put it if you want to.
I would just send it.
Right. I would
without nothing. And then if he comes back and says, I'm just not comfortable with this, then give him options.
Exactly.
I've tried to look online about how you reverse cash.
What do you have, a cashier check?
Well, yeah.
Well, then maybe we could donate it to something here, like to the Historical Society in his name, if he sends it back to us.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Something
have to recommend
in his name.
Yeah, I would just mail it.
Yeah.
I think it's good to just mail it. It's all done in this is what our expression of gratitude is.
It is.
And if we have to make a change with the cashier's check, he can give us $400 back or something.
I did get a card, a historic house.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very nice.
And I was going to write something thinking it would be here and then have everybody try to sign it, but Jeff and us and Tammy aren't here, so maybe I should just write a general thing and sign everybody's name. And
on behalf of all of us.
Yes.
And put the check in the mail and let's go.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
So
I don't mean to rush out.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good solution. And if he just doesn't take it, then we'll
deal with it then.
We'll deal with it then.
Then we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
I think next month is going to be just
another 3-hour meeting.
I know.
I'm really getting tired of these. I don't know how we do it.
I don't mind allotting 3 hours. I just need to know ahead because I thought I was figuring 11:30.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I don't think we have a choice. We just have to do the business, and this is how we're doing it. I think we were great at moving the meeting along today, Jeff. I thought that was great.
The biggest
certain amount of small talk is part of the service we provide. Just a certain amount of talking about the bushes or the store or whatever.
Or how are you doing?
If you don't do that, you're losing something that I think is essential to
I agree. I think and I thought today was, I know it added to the length, but it was nice to have some chit chat with some of the people. And, everybody understands we're all on the same team.
Yes.
And so I think
but
that's
maybe
important.
We have to be more realistic in the writing of the agenda too, just so people won't have to wait and assume it's going to go for a longer period of time.
Yeah, there was one awkward situation with the Joneses a few meetings ago because the beginning part of the meeting went. How did this work? Fast? I don't know.
Anyway, they came around.
I'm sorry, I have to back out.
So I'm glad that
whatever else you need from me, and we'll all get together.
I think I'm concerned about. Martha, are you still on?
No, Martha's not good. But I'm concerned about that.
Can you turn it off?
How do you do that? End call?
End.